You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing.
Hey, Adam Silva. Hello, McFly. Anybody home? Hey, how are you today? I'm not going to sit here and lead the show off with the Chargers thumping of the Minnesota Vikings, the Bruins sucking again last night and losing 6 in a row, or it's game 1 of the World Series tonight, which everybody forgot about. No, we got gambling issues to discuss in the NBA. Let's get it going, everybody. Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Checking us out across the awesome video platform. Following me on X, on Twitter at PShep326. Across YouTube, Rumble, Kick, CSD in Florida, Instagram, LinkedIn, Odyssey app, and you can text the show 727-858-6650. We got a lot to get into today. Huge show lined up for you today. Thank you, NBA, for making this. I'm so glad this didn't happen last week when I was away from my 40th high school reunion. But man, oh man, huge show lined up for you today. What you just heard, the opening cut, is Kash Patel. I'm gonna play the whole press conference, the 4-minute press conference for you, opener yesterday, so you have an understanding exactly, in case you missed it or been under a rock for the last 24 hours, exactly what is going on with the NBA and the arrest. Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups, Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, former Cleveland Cavalier player and assistant coach Damon Jones, all arrested as part of a pair of wide-ranging investigations related to illegal sports betting and rigged poker games, some backed by the mafia, according to authorities yesterday. So, huge show lined up for you today. Bill Sparrows, bookies.com, nobody better, senior betting analyst. I know he's done like 8,000 shows over the last 12 hours. He's usually on with us Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, and he's already done that, but he's agreed to join me this morning once again at 7:30. Nobody on the planet has a better grasp of all of this than he does. And he and I have talked about situations like this a lot. What I don't understand, let me finish this. Bill Sparrows, bookies.com, senior betting analyst at 7:30. Jay Flannelly, up in Ann Arbor at Beevesville, joined us at 8:05. My Pigskin Picks, speaking of gambling, coming up at 8:30. John Meter-Perrell, BC football play-by-play man, ACC Network play-by-play guy at 9 o'clock. And Gabe Morenzi, more gambling talk of a Sports Grid with his awesome picks coming up at 9:30. So what I really don't understand, and this is where people, and I can only go by ESPN, I don't watch Fox Sports or all those other shows. And I'm sure they have the same reaction, though. I don't understand why people are surprised by any of this. I really don't. Bill Sparrows and I talk about this all the time, and I think this investigation by the FBI is just scratching the surface. Well, I'm not surprised by it. Am I really surprised? I mean, that Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and Damon Jones, and a lot of it, besides the poker stuff, which were illegal tables, that's a whole different sort of ballgame there. And that's a different type of scumbagginess, I will say. The fact that underground poker games happen, serious ones, I can tell you firsthand, 100,000% that they do. Now, not with illegal tables, but I know plenty of dealers around New England and around the country that get hired to run high-stake poker games at people's houses, and they get paid big bucks, and it's all legit. It's all legit, except for the Chauncey Billups thing. And I can tell you firsthand, and I've never dealt at one of these things, but I've been to one I've been to one, and I know of many others that go on around the country where, yes, you do have a celebrity, or sometimes it's a who's who of celebrities that go to these homes, and there's big time poker games that go on, but not with illegal tables with cameras on. That's really awful. That's awful. But as far as that's a whole separate issue. But as far as players and prop bets and all that crap, Bill and I talk about this every week. What I don't understand, here's where the national people miss it, okay? Here's where they miss it. They focus on, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. No. Instead, you should be praising the gambling industry that is now legal and not illegal in most places. Otherwise, none of this stuff would come to fruition. So Bill talks about it all the time. Red flags go up. You cannot cheat the system anymore. You really can't. And all these, it was way easier to do this type of stuff. And God only knows how often it happened way back in the day when gambling was illegal on most fronts, with prop bets only in Vegas, at the time. So I seriously, I don't know why anybody is surprised. And they're missing the boat. Starting with Greeny yesterday on Get Up. And then Stephen A. will get to his ridiculous take that President Trump is responsible for everything, even the sky being blue. And then we'll get the rebuttal from Kash Patel as well, the FBI director, which we'll hear from him shortly. We're also going to hear from Michael Francesi. If you don't know, used to be, his dad was the underboss of the Colombo family back in the day. Michael Francesi has went to jail for 10 years. Probably one of the most brilliant schemes ever, as far as making $5 to $10 million a week back in the day on gasoline taxes. A brilliant scheme. He went to jail. He went to jail for it, but it was it made a crap load of money back then. And now he's born again Christian type of thing, reborn, and he does a lot of speaking all over the country. He's one of the few made mafia men that can still alive, is still able to talk about it. And he's been doing it now for quite some time. We're going to hear from him as well. And a lot of other people. Shaq had a take on it last night. I for the life of me, I don't understand why these national hosts and these national hosts don't get it. This is a good thing that that gambling is legal. Otherwise, none of this would have come to fruition. And they don't even acknowledge it. They don't even acknowledge it. It's like it's an afterthought. This morning on Sportsmanlike, they're leading with the Chargers over the Vikings. Are you kidding me? A 37-10 blowout. The Vikings look like shit. And they're not going anywhere. Carson Wentz, he threw his helmet at the end of the game and threw a nutty and all that, which is not what a leader should be doing. But nevertheless, I'm not going to get into that today. All of that. And I'm not going to get into, the Bruins were terrible last night. Again, for the most part, terrible. Give up 7 goals to the Ducks, and they're 6 losses in a row. They got some issues over there. And Game 1 of the World Series is tonight, which I'm actually looking forward to. But this is the big story, and I for the life of me, I cannot understand why these national sports talk show hosts don't understand, most of them anyway, that if gambling was not legal, you wouldn't know any of this. And they don't even acknowledge it on ESPN. They don't even acknowledge it. It's stupid, or it's blind ignorance. It's just because you carry the games on ESPN or NBC or whatever network is carrying Amazon tonight, the Celtics and the Knicks. You have to acknowledge it. What I want to know is why Adam Silver, why the NBA hasn't acknowledged it. And this has been going on for a couple of years. I don't know how they let Terry Rozier keep going. What he doing? And I saw some of the box scores. You talk about, and this is a lot of it's not point shaving per se, but I guess it kind of sort of is when you talk about prop bets that can lead to scores being a little bit different. But these, like Terry Rozier, I saw a stat where he took himself out of the game with a fake foot injury. I saw him shoot 0 for 10 from 3. The evidence is clear. You can, all these people that want to cover themselves, yeah, allegedly. Yeah, come on, man, please. And I think we have only just begun. As Karen Carpenter so eloquently said many years ago, we've only just begun. I swear to God, this is just scratching the surface. You think these are the only people? Not these three, but again, the Billups and Rozier have been placed on leave from their teams, the NBA said in a statement. Total of 34 people arrested as the result of a year-long investigation covering 11 states involving tens of millions of dollars. FBI Director Kash Patel said, and we're going to, you know what, I want you to hear from him right now. Here is Kash Patel yesterday during the press conference, which happened at about 10 o'clock. We told you yesterday when all this stuff was breaking about 10 past 8, I had Trevor Harris on. And we were talking about Terry Rozier first, and then Chauncey Billups, and we found out a lot of others. Here's how it went down. No Angel Martinez today once again. He is still ill. Hopefully he's back with us on Monday. Here is Kash Patel, the FBI director.
Good morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation. And we could not have done it without our interagency partners that are before us today. The NYPD, HSI, and teams of law enforcement officials from around the country made this day possible. It takes a team to bring this kind of justice, sweeping justice, into the halls of the United States courtrooms, where our brave United States attorney has led this prosecution. It takes courageous prosecutors to stand before you and say, we will not allow this kind of illicit activity to happen, not only at the national sporting level, but also where it hides in La Casa Nostra. And when these two collided together, they perpetrated a fraud that is historic in terms of not just money, but the scheme and the deceit that they utilize to steal and swindle people from money, to include crypto fraud. This is an operation that showcases to you that under President Trump's administration, there is no room for any type of criminal behavior, be it on the world's largest stage or in the back rooms of tiny parlors where guard games are being played. We are proud to stand here today with the men and women of the FBI and this legal team. And to the United States Attorney, I just want to thank you personally for taking the time to display the work that the media is about to hear about today in detail. As I said, it does take courageous prosecutors, but it takes a courageous United States attorney to bring this case, because we are going to take heat for it. But we don't shy away in this administration. We don't say no. What we do is we bring the results across the finish line. We bring them to the public. We bring you accountability. And yes, they will have their day in court, and you will hear the evidence through the court system exclusively. We will not deny anyone of due process. And that's the brilliance of this system. That's the brilliance of this administration. Everyone will be held to account. So with that, I turn it over to United States Attorney Nosell. Thank you.
All right, that's Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. And like I said, God only knows. Wait till all the evidence comes out, or witnesses have to speak, or not, or choose not to, whatever. Who gets indicted, who doesn't? I think we are just scratching the surface here. I think this is going to get a lot uglier. And then the NBA comes out with this bogus statement. Now they should have come out with something. Many, a few years ago, they let this fester, and now they say we are in the process of reviewing the federal indictments announced today. Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are being placed on immediate leave from their teams and will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities. We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness, and the integrity of our game remains top priority. Really? Okay. Then why have you waited so long? This is a big, giant pterodactyl egg in the face of Adam Silver and the NBA right now. Now, someone who had a grasp on the situation for many, many years, his former Mafia captain, Michael Francesi, up on TMZ Sports, talking about the NBA's gambling platforms. And if you don't know Michael Francesi, if you watch any of the Mafia-related shows, whatever, he's one of the few that's come out. There's been a ton of documentaries, whether it's on Hulu or Netflix, and you want to talk about the five families, and you heard Director Patel talk about, Gambino, Bonanno, Genovese, Lucchese, and the Colombo families, back in the day. And then there's still a faction of them, not as powerful, but there definitely is a faction that still exists. But Michael Francesi is not afraid to talk about it. Here he is on TMZ Sports.
How do you get players who are making millions in some cases to get involved in something like this?
I don't think you understand the level of gambling among professional athletes, even college athletes. And I've been doing this for 30 years since they recruited me. All the leagues recruited me out of prison, back in 1994, because they knew they were having such a problem. And I had a number of bookmakers working for me. The FBI filled them in on that. So they chose me to come and speak to the players and try to dissuade them from getting involved with organized crime. You don't realize, gambling is an extension of their competitive nature. It raises the stakes in the competition. These guys get themselves in so much trouble. Doesn't matter how much money they make. And, let me use Michael Jordan as an example. There was a time when I said Michael had a real gambling problem because he gambles on everything. And I've witnessed it in certain cases when I was working with the NBA. But, he came out in that thing that he did, the documentary on him, and he said, I don't have a gambling problem. I have a competition problem. I'm not shocked what I see with Chauncey Billups. I'm not shocked with that player that, gave some information. I'm going to come out early in the game, and this way you can bet the under on me, and we'll split it up afterwards. I mean, this happens all the time. It hasn't changed over the past 30 years.
Do these players know they're dealing with organized crime, or are the organized criminals smart enough to kind of disguise that, and that the players never really know they're dealing with the mafia?
No, they know it. But look, you got to see guys in that life, they're smooth. You're in trouble. You come to me, at the time, say, look, I want to help you out. I don't want to hurt you. I'm never going to put you in trouble. I'm not going to tell on you. You know who I am. Let's do this together. I'll make some money from you. I'll make some money for you. You make some money for me. The more access you have to gambling, the more people are going to get involved in it, and the more people are going to get in trouble. There's no question about it. The leagues now have basically adopted gambling. They're saying, hey, it's okay. You can gamble. And you can't give people access like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can give people access, and again, the point being that you're going to get caught if you cross the line. If you cross the red flags, all these bookmaking operations, now that gambling is legal, all are aware of all of this shit. I think, that's point number one. Point number two is, again, as I've said already, why the hell is the NBA, why does it take so long to say? I mean, they tried to sweep this under the rug. There's no question. They knew about Rozier. This is not something that happened yesterday. This was over a 2-year investigation. All right? And those who want to blame, President Trump, like Stephen A. Smith, about this, that, or the other, about this particular situation, I don't care. You know how I feel about politicians. I don't like many of them. I don't care what side you're on. I don't talk about politics on this show, or very rarely, except to make fun of everybody, because it's not worth it. You can't win. All you can do is piss people off. Half the people who hate the person you're talking about, half the people like the person. It doesn't matter. But what does matter, here's, and I will tell you this. Here is yesterday, FBI Director Kash Patel rebutting Stephen A. Smith, who said, well, you'll hear. He was on Fox News yesterday.
Yeah, down the street. By the way, this was so wild. Stephen A. Smith, the sports commentator, suggested that this was revenge from the president for all the kind of left-wing activism of the NBA. Your response to that, 15 seconds.
I'm the FBI director. I decide which arrests to conduct and which not to conduct. That may be the single dumbest thing I've ever heard out of anyone in modern history, and I live most of my time in Washington, D.C. It's right up there with Adam Schiff. We arrest people for crimes.
Yeah, now the problem with that is, and I agree with him 100%, is Stephen A., he feeds into this. So you watch, he's going to have some harsh words again today for Director Patel and everybody else. But he should have more harsh words for Adam Silver and why the NBA, they look like fools in this entire thing. They really do. And I'm going to keep saying it. I know it's being redundant, but I don't know how these national people don't think it's a good thing now that gambling is legal. Otherwise, you wouldn't be talking about all of this today. You'd never know. You wouldn't know on the most part. It's much easier to get away with this 5-10 years ago. You can't do it anymore. Like I said, the illegal poker game, that's different. I'm talking about prop bets and everything else. I can't tell you how many times. I think Bill Sparrows and I talk about it every single week when I ask him about, what's new in the gambling world. And it's 99% of the time, always part of the discussion centers around prop bets. I can't wait to talk to Bill coming up in about 9 minutes. Here's Shaq's response to this situation last night on ESPN.
We all know the letter of the law when it comes to gambling and sports gambling. And I don't want to sit up here like I'm some perfect guy. Like every now and then when I go to Vegas, I'll play some craps and I'll play some roulette, but never gambled at anybody's house. Don't know anything about poker, so I don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the Chauncey thing. But I know Chauncey. I know Damon very well. Played with Damon, so I don't want to sit up here. But I'm ashamed that those guys would put their families and their careers in jeopardy. There's an old saying in the hood: all money ain't good money. So if you're making $9 million and you're dealing in certain things, like how much more do you need? Especially if you know you get caught, you can do jail time, lose your career. Put a bad image on yourself or your family or on the NBA. I agree with you, Chuck. They dropped the ball.
100%.
They had this
100% dropped the ball.
And like you never want to have your name involved in that when you know the letter of the law. And Ernie, again, I know for a fact every year they cancel practice and say don't do this and don't do that and don't do that. So all the guys had the information. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And kudos to those guys and Chuck and everybody else, Chuck and Ernie, and for calling out the NBA. And then the NBA comes up with some lame ass statement because they got caught with their hands in the cookie jar and they didn't acknowledge it, or now it's too late. And they better I'm sure conduct their own investigation. But I think the FBI is just scratching the surface here. I really do. All right, let's get more reaction. Here is Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrine react in real time to the news and allegations involving Chauncey Billups. This is from SiriusXM NBA Radio yesterday.
Oh wow, let's hit that breaking news thing. Oh my God. Now this is in his tweet. You have the right person. This is Shams. It's not a burner account.
Yes.
Uh-oh, this is big news, dude. I'm not getting nervous.
Is it a burner account or is it his account?
This is his. I have his tweets.
Verified.
I got it. Wow. Jeez. Portland Trailblazers, according to Shams, Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups has been arrested by the FBI for alleged illegal gambling.
He's involved?
Holy moly.
He's involved in this Terry Rozier thing?
Well, I don't know if it's with Rozier. It could be.
Oh.
Oh man.
Yeah, much worse than they thought. That was just the initial reaction, which was, it could have been anybody. Any of those names would not surprise me at all. I know it probably didn't surprise Bill Sparrows, not to put words in his mouth. He's going to join me in about 5 minutes. But I don't think anybody who has a sense of the gambling world. Why this is a surprise to anybody is beyond me. You know, especially with the prop bets. And we've seen several instances of guys already getting caught in various sports, college and pro, because you cannot pull the wool over these bookmakers' eyes anymore. It is way more difficult now, nearly impossible now that gambling is legal. All right, here's a legal analyst on Sirius XM NBA radio, legal analyst Danny Savalos on the gambling situation.
Expect a PR campaign that focuses on isolating what they perceive to be bad actors. I mean, the best case scenario is that they can cut out or separate from the people they perceive as being bad news. Obviously, alleged members of the crime families, but of course the players and coaches too. Even though they are, as you say, presumed innocent, the reality is anytime the government releases an indictment like this, the only voice anybody hears for months at a time is the government's version of the case. So the NBA cannot wait until an adjudication of guilt. They cannot wait for a verdict or a guilty plea. They have to act immediately and distance themselves from all of this conduct.
Absolutely dead on balls, accurate. Here is sports law professor Gabe Feldman on the gambling situation. This also from Sirius XM NBA radio.
You will see when they have these press conferences, they want to win the press conference, and right. They want to make headlines, and they want to be seen as cracking down on criminal activity. And you can say we've got not only mafia families, but we also have NBA players, and it doesn't get much bigger than that, having the mafia and professional athletes involved in a case.
All right, and let's hear also on Sirius XM NBA radio. Here's Portland Sam Mitchell on the situation involving Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups.
I know Damon Jones. I coached him. I know Terry Rozier a little bit, from coaching against him. I don't know him. I know Damon Jones, but I love Chauncey Billups. He's like my nephew, a little brother. He calls me uncle. He's as nice. I know his wife, his children. He's as good a guy, teammate, man, friend that I've ever had. Until I see the evidence, until he's convicted by a jury of his peers. One, I never turn my back on my friend. Two, I hope and pray that this is not true. But I'm going to stand by my friend. I won't believe it until I see it.
Yeah, well, you'll be, yes, allegations, allegedly, yeah. He's more likely than not to be convicted. And like I said, these are just three of the names, and I'm sure that there's a bunch of names, as you heard FBI Director Patel say, that a total of 34 people, for now, I added the for now, were arrested as the result of a year-long investigation. Another player perspective, Perk, who I don't like as an analyst for the most part on ESPN. But anyway, here is Perk yesterday on Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier on ESPN.
Perk, your reaction?
So 3 things, right? Number 1, innocent to proven guilty, right? This is all till the dust settles. Number 2, the league does have a problem, right? And we got to make sure that as a league we continue to protect the integrity of the game, right? Sports betting is everywhere. It's everywhere. You can't run from it. You can't hide it. Hell, my phone blows up every single day. Go ahead.
Even on our own network.
It's
here
on
at ESPN.
Yeah, but my phone blows up every day. Hey, Perk, from cousins to friends, and and obviously I could speak on it because I talk it. I speak for it on a living. I make appearances on ESPN Bet. But what I'm saying is, Tanae, just think about certain things that are being leaked out. How can you stop information from being leaked out? Wendy talked about, the reports of injuries, right? Think about it. We still don't know who leaked out the Jordan Poole and Draymond Green fight. Now, I know this has nothing to do with it, but you talk about keeping things sacred and protecting the integrity of the league. So we got to find a way to do that. But on the flip side of things, you look at situations like this, and it's unfortunate. And I bring up a personal experience of what I teach to my kids because, as we can see, it's a ripple effect, right? And I'm teaching my kids to be leaders and not followers, right? Don't go with the group always, because what end up happening is if somebody in the group goes down, guess what? Y'all all going down, and that's what we're seeing right now. But again, I don't want to dive too deep into everything that's going on, because I'm innocent. I want the innocent to proven guilty.
Yeah, all that bullshit. Meanwhile, we welcome in the man of the hour, Bill Sparrows, from the senior betting analyst at bookies.com. Good Lord, this must be like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Easter Sunday, Yom Kippur. I mean, everything, all Halloween, Thanksgiving, all rolled into one. And as I've reiterated all morning long, Bill, and I'm going to let you have the floor and just have at it. Here's what I don't get, is that after, we broke the stories yesterday, or Sham broke the story and stuff on the for ESPN, and we talked. None of this surprises me. None of it. I think we're only scratching the surface, even though there's 34 people. There might be 3,400 people going on. What I don't understand is, right after the show yesterday, I go on, I'm watching Get Up with Greeny and the other shows, and then this morning. And they all missed the point. They all missed the boat. That they act stunned, but they never give credit to the gambling industry, which is now legal, which is the only reason why we know all about this stuff. We never would have known about it, which you have brought up time and time again, damn it. On this show and many others, how many times do we sit here and talk about prop bet? The poker thing with the illegal tape, that's a different level of stuff, which I already gave my little commentary on, but I want to stick strictly with this stuff. I don't understand how the national media pundits don't understand or don't say, hey, this is a good thing that we found out about this. Bad look for the NBA, because they should have had something out a couple of years ago. I don't care who was in office at the time. They look awful. Bad look for Adam Silver, big pterodactyl yoke on his face. But why these national pundits don't understand that this was a good thing that we found out about. The only reason why is because gambling is illegal. You can't pull the shenanigans out now that you used to. There's lots of red flags. As 2 years ago, they were talking about Terry Rozier and 0 for 10 shooting from three. I saw the box score, one of them yesterday. So all of this going on, Bill, maybe you and I are the only ones not surprised. I think this is just the FBI scratching the surface here. I think this is going to get a hell of a lot worse. But Bill Sparrows, who's been talking about this with me since we've been a couple of years now, and now the national pundits probably go, oh, I'm still waiting for somebody. Even this morning on Sportsmanlike, they lead with the stupid Chargers over the Vikings. I mean, stop it. This is the lead story. And I don't know why people and the NBA is in cahoots with ESPN and gambling. Why is it so difficult for some of these national pundits to say, you know what, we found this out because gambling is legal now. If it was illegal, this might still be going on. Bill Sparrows, senior betting analyst, bookies.com. The floor is yours. Good morning, and thank you for taking the time out for this for the second time this week. And I know you've been on 8,000 shows the last 12 hours. Go ahead.
What did the NBA know, and when did the NBA know it? That is my question moving forward. Because, as you mentioned, and as others, I think the gambling industry, I think people who bet, I mean, I think back and remember when this happened. I mean, there were stories, the ESPN gambling writer David Purdom wrote about this in real time. A lot of people posted about it in real time. It was all over gambling Twitter. And, to their credit, this right now, and again, we only know what we've been told. No one's been adjudicated guilty. Although the court of public opinion is far different than the court in the Eastern District of New York. There is no presumption of innocence in the court of public opinion. But, I'm not going to say someone's a criminal until they've been convicted. But I will say this we do know. The legal books that took these bets and, frankly, got screwed out of a couple of $100,000. They are the only ones thus far that we know that actually did what they were supposed to do. They did exactly what they're supposed to do for both their self-interest and the many states. They all have different rules. Now, in about a month, we're going to have 39 states with gambling with Missouri. All 39 states have 39 different sets of rules. Should there be federal regulation? That's a different conversation. But when people say there's no oversight for gambling, they just literally are ignorant, either by choice or just by happenstance. Sports betting is one of the most heavily regulated industries in the country. Gambling in general is perhaps the most heavily regulated industry in the country. In Massachusetts alone, there are more than 260 separate rules, regulations, and statutes just concerning sports betting. And that's true pretty much elsewhere because they pretty much cut and paste the rules every time they launch in a new state. So, and yeah, I work in the gambling industry. And if somebody wants to say I'm a shill for them, that's fine. I'm not. But the facts don't lie. We knew in real time what happened because of the integrity protections that the sports books have to both cover their own ass and because they are partnering with the leagues. See, this is so much on the NBA. And not only did the books get literally ripped off, they're kind of being thrown under the bus here by Adam Silver, who and he's right. They should eliminate prop bets on lower tier players, two-way players, and players whose performance isn't going to affect the outcome of the game. Sure, they should do that because we've seen at least now in 2 occasions where those sorts of bets have led to legal action. In the same case, it turned out. This is a part of the Jonte Porter case. And again, you don't have to pick your legal reference, CSI Miami or Law and Order or Perry Mason to figure out that Jonte Porter isn't being sentenced until December. Okay, people? You don't have to be Jim Rockford to put that case together. Okay? Put 2 and 2 together. And you get, Jonte was singing like Johnny Sacamano there in The Sopranos or Henry Hill, okay? I mean, this isn't hard to figure out, kids.
But the bigger point too is that these books contacted the NBA and told them what was going on, and they did nothing.
Yes,
they did. I mean, that to me is the biggest part of this story. What is Adam Silver thinking? Why wasn't Terry Rozier reprimanded immediately, or called in, or investigated immediately? Or if he does this not seem like the NBA either tried to sweep it under the rug or just lighting a candle every night? Adam Silver thinking maybe this will go away. No. But I think that's the biggest part of the story. The NBA didn't do anything, and they knew about it.
Well, I'm not sure Adam Silver's lighting candles per se, but maybe once a year.
Yeah.
But I look. What do we know? We know that it's been alleged that Terry Rozier faked a head injury during a game 9 minutes in when there were $200,000 worth of bets spread out all over the place on him going under on his props when, that was probably 50x what's normally bet on Terry Rozier. We know that after this head injury, Rozier didn't play for the rest of the season. Okay. Again, you don't need to be Jim Rockford to do the math on that one. Kind of sort of like when Michael Jordan retired for 2 years from the NBA. Okay. So we kind of know that the NBA sort of has a track record, perhaps, of, looking at these things and handling it in-house. Like, we always used to say, wherever I worked, we like to handle our discipline in-house. Yeah. I think the NBA, and again, this is my speculation, but I think there's some pieces that could lead to this speculation that, the NBA perhaps felt that they had dealt with this in-house. What they obviously didn't know or didn't want to know, or maybe they just didn't, like the NFL lost the Ray Rice tape. Maybe the NBA lost the letter from the FBI. Who knows? But they didn't want to know or didn't choose to know that obviously this was connected to, an alleged organized crime scheme. And as far as the Chauncey Billups thing goes, think about the scene in Casino where the dumb hick nephew of the casino commissioner, was there when the slots get hit 3 times.
Yes.
And Robert De Niro says, you should have either known or you were in on it. Either way, you're gone. Yes. The NBA should have either known what Chauncey Billups was doing, or they knew about it and looked the other way. Either way, that as well as probably more insidious than what Rozier is alleged to have done. Because think about Chauncey Billups, and the first two words that come to mind are Pete Rose. Because Pete Rose was suspended for life because he bet on a team that he was managing. Yay, he bet on his own team. Doesn't work, people, because you don't know how he may have ruined Jack Armstrong's career by pitching him 700 innings when the guy probably had a bum shoulder. So we don't know what Chauncey Billups did in terms of his team perhaps tanking, him sitting players that, or limiting minutes to players, based on potential prop wagers. Because when you're on the payroll of the mob, allegedly, it doesn't stop with, okay, Chauncey, we expect to see you at 8:00 for the poker game, because the tentacles run deep. So if there's more to come on this story, it's my 100% speculation, not based on any facts, 100% opinion speculation, that I think you're going to see more with the Chauncey Billups thing. Because again, does Chauncey Billups want to go to prison? No, I don't think so. Does Terry Rozier want to go to prison? I don't think so. So obviously they are, you get the little fish to get the bigger fish, right? You have to go through the, when they got what's his face, when he talked a lot of
Sammy Gravano, Henry Hill, the list is.
They talked about the buffers, right? There's a lot of
buffer. Family's got a lot of buffers. Yeah.
Willie
Cheechy.
Yeah, Willie Cheech. That's right. And right now, Chauncey Billups is probably like Willie Cheech in the sense that he was a buffer.
Well, here's the thing to the poker stuff. And I played a lot of live poker. I played in the World Series main event, but I played in some of the most fun, big time events that were at people's homes around New England. And that stuff, there's a Sopranos episode where it was a pretty high stakes poker game. Then they were robbed and everything else. And people did it. And I'm talking about some of them, $50 buy, $100 buy-in. But I've also been at at least one big who's who. And I know I have a lot of dealer friends all through New England, from Rhode Island to Maine, that deal and get asked to deal in these who's who type of events. And they do include professional athletes, many of them well known and everything else. And it's very hush-hush. It's kept very quiet. And when it comes together, I mean, there's security and everything else. Now, as far as I know, they've only told me fun stories. And I've been at one of these, and it was fun, not using illegal tables or anything like that. But these type of games have been going on for decades in some of these athletes and media people's houses. I can tell you firsthand, it is real, it is true. And it's unfortunate that Chauncey Billups, whether he's using glasses or, rigged the cards on the table, that's a whole different sort of scumminess doing that. All I can tell you is the people that I know are a part of it, at least the ones around New England, had nothing but good things to say. They were tipped very well, and it went well. And, games would start at 8:00 at night, full bar, catered, everything else, and go into the wee hours in the morning, and then everybody went on their way. Now, it might have been a $10,000, $20,000 buy-in for some of these little tournaments, but nevertheless, they exist. So I'm not, anybody who's surprised by in-house poker games, you just have to worry. It's the people that announce it on social media, hey, I'm having a game tonight, $100 buy-in at my house. Those are the people that get robbed. You put it out on social media. It's stupid. The dumbest thing that could ever happen. And I know a couple of people that it has happened to in this, around.
Well, they obviously robbed them in a different manner. I saw the video where the cards had the.
That's what I'm saying. This is a different type of scumminess. I retweeted the video. I mean, where you're wearing the glasses, the cards are numbered, under the table it's cameras. That's a whole different level of scumminess. It really is. It's not the fact that underground poker games go on, because they do all over the country for big bucks. Some of them. It's when you do that, that's. There's supposed to be a certain ethics to it, and that's just really, really crossing the line. But getting back to the gambling part of it, and they say they stay a total of 34 people. I think it's like 3,400 people if they really wanted it to be. Don't you? I mean, 34 seems like an odd number. I mean, who are these other 34 people? Well, I can't wait to find out those names, and maybe they mean more to you and me or other people than they do the FBI right now. I'd like to see a whole list of names.
Well, they're in the indictment. So, the indictment had all their nicknames too, which was like they were right out of Hollywood. I imagine they're just low or mid-level or alleged organized crime types. But again, if you're, how this works. If you're, you want to get the big fish. I mean, Henry Hill ratted out Paul Cicero. So,
yeah,
you
Gravano ratted out Gotti. I mean, doesn't get any better than that.
Get the big fish, right? You want to get the big guy. So these are, and I watched a press conference yesterday and actually taped it too. And I noted, that the prosecutors pointed out, well, these were like low and mid-level and capos. They weren't, like bosses. So it's kind of like, I think they're using these people to get to other people. And I don't know, I heard what Stephen A. Smith said about, this being politically motivated, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But this I'm not sure how much sway Donald Trump has over Jessica Tisch in the New York Police Commissioner's office.
Also, this was going on before he got back in office.
Exactly.
So why doesn't anybody acknowledge? Did you hear his rebuttal, by the way? Quick 30-second blurb on Fox News yesterday. Kash Patel to Stephen A. Real quick, here it is.
Yeah, down the street. By the way, this was so wild. Stephen A. Smith, the sports commentator, suggested that this was revenge from the president for all the kind of left-wing activism of the NBA. Your response to that, 15 seconds.
I'm the FBI director. I decide which arrests to conduct and which not to conduct. That may be the single dumbest thing I've ever heard out of anyone in modern history, and I live most of my time in Washington, D.C. It's right up there with Adam Schiff. We arrest people for crimes.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, and I like Stephen A. He's been gracious to me when I interviewed him. But in this case, I just think he's 1,000% off base. Because again, the facts, even though, I get paid, I work for a company that works with sports books, and I don't mind putting that out there. But I can say on my son and his new bride, on the soul of my unborn grandchildren, that my bosses at gambling.com have never told me not to write something. Well, the only time we ever discussed anything was when there was some, licensing of third-party affiliates, which is what we are. So, my bosses and I agreed that I would just sort of report what was said, and that's it, because that's a conflict. That's a clear conflict. But aside from that, I've never been told, hey, don't write this. You can't say that. I say that with a true and clear conscience, because, all my bosses yesterday were just like, oh man, Bill, that's a crazy day, right? They're not saying don't say anything bad about sports betting, or no, because they trust me to write what's there, and frankly, my reputation means a lot more to me than any one given job. So, and in this case, again, just look at the facts. Just look at what happened. And again, the one thing I like about this, and I talked about this a lot yesterday, I use the term digital DNA. Because, in every criminal trial, it's like, oh, the DNA was there, the DNA wasn't there, guilty or innocent, right? No DNA on Karen Reed's DNA wasn't on whatever, so she didn't do it. But there's digital DNA in this case. There's a time, a place, an amount, a social security number, and an ID tied to every single one of those wagers that were placed on Terry Rozier. They knew exactly who placed the wagers, where they were within 36 inches, when the wagers were placed, and the amount of money. And so they have all that digital DNA. It's all there. And of course, as we've said 50 times, and I'm going to keep saying this until people get it, that this was done in real time. I think it was 30 minutes or something.
Yes.
I mean, it took them, the markets were down. And there's a company called IC360, used to be called US Integrity. They do most of this. There are other companies, and I've talked to those people a lot. And I kind of have an understanding of how it works, and because they've explained it to me. So, it's all there. There's digital DNA all over the place, so to speak, if you want to use that metaphor. And the NBA either missed it, chose to ignore it, or covered it up. But in any case, it's not a good look for the NBA, When you have a coach involved in these high stakes poker games with alleged organized crime figures and games that were allegedly rigged, you should have either known about it or you were in on it. I go back to that line from Casino because in either sense, it's it's like it doesn't really matter. Are you incompetent or corrupt? Does it really matter at the end of the day? No, it really doesn't matter.
No, absolutely. There's no question. I thought it was kind of a lame statement. It's like we'll put out. We are in the process of reviewing the federal indictments announced today. Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups being placed on immediate leave from their teams. We'll continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities. We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness, and the integrity of our game remains our top priority. Well, no, they've got to get out in front of this today. Now, do you think there's any? The other conspiracy theorists out there, I heard this from more than one person besides Stephen A. spew this, that they chose to do this during NBA opening week to smear the NBA.
Oh yeah, I'm a 100% fan of timing. I think when anything happens that's not like a weather event or someone dropping dead of a heart attack or a game isn't scheduled like we knew the World Series is starting tonight. We know the Patriots are playing Sunday. Anytime there's something like this, you could announce this indictment at any time. And think about this in politics. I don't want to be partisan, but anytime any political story breaks or whatever it is, these are not, there's no breaking news. This was not breaking news in the sense of it had to be announced today. That could have been announced yesterday. It could have been announced Monday. It could have been announced 5 months ago. So yeah, I 100% agree with the theory that this was time for impact because it was. Because there was no, at least from what we know, there was no pressing reason to do it yesterday as opposed to today, as opposed to next week. And even that someone pointed out on Thursday that, this was done on a Thursday because, by the time you get yourself and you get arraigned, there's judges unavailable until Monday. So yeah, I'm 100% in on that because I mean, how many times have we gotten, the Bruins fired Claude Julien the day of the Patriots parade.
Yeah.
Okay. They could have fired Claude Julien the day after.
That's what they do, though. They fired other coaches before when they're on the West Coast or other media members weren't going to be around. That's what they. But yeah, I tend to agree with you. But we have seen maybe not gambling breaking story. We've seen stuff happen. Rob Manfred hates when stuff affects the World Series, whether it's a managerial hiring. Same thing in the NFL. No commissioner, Paul Tagliabue, they don't want to see any stories interfere with the Super Bowl except for the game itself. Same thing with Gary Bettman in the NHL. They don't want to see anything break during the Stanley Cup Finals. This is not even the finals. It's the opening week. And I find the entire process, I find it fascinating. I find it fascinating. And I still believe, I just think we're scratching the surface here.
I love this story. Again, I'm a journalist. I know a lot of people hate journalists right now. I don't blame them. I'm probably as big a critic as my business, but I have a journalism degree from Marquette right over there. If you Google me, it says journalist. I'm proud of that. I love what I do. I've been doing it for 40 years. I let my reputation speak for itself. And this is a great story. This is a great story. And to me, I don't, this is what, from, your business and the talk people in Boston and everywhere else, this is all what people want to talk about. No one's going to care about the World Series today. I mean, obviously, I think people will be focused on the Patriots this weekend. But I think this, from the talk of the town, from my reactions on social media, from text messages, this is the only thing that people are interested in right now because it's fascinating, because it is like a movie and it's real. Which makes it better. It's better.
It will become a movie. Netflix will do, or Hulu or Amazon will make this into a movie, or a 30 for 30 special. How do you think? We see all the time. God forbid there's an airplane crash or something tragic happens, and certain commercials are pulled off the air. Do you think sports books, even if it's just for today or for the weekend, are going to be even more cautious, or maybe not even allow prop bets because of this situation until there's more evidence, or at least the investigation concludes? Do you think that could possibly happen with some of these books?
Well, I think what should happen, and you know, the books aren't 100% blameless here because they do offer those markets. I think again, if I were king of sports betting, I would have an awesome crown, way better than Trump's. Okay, I would have a huge throne. I would have sports betting girls serving me dinner. My wife would kick them out, but I would limit individual prop bets to perhaps 5 or 6 players on any given NBA roster on any given night. I think that's the solution to this problem.
Would they have to be projected starters and not bench players?
Well, I think no. I don't think no. That's not fair to the 6th guy or the 7th guy.
Okay.
And there is some skill, but you know, we have a clear now at least 2, right? The coincidence, we're one away from enemy action. So we have and to the NBA's credit, Adam Silver said this to me and 30 other sports editors when I asked him this question in April. He has been long on the record against negative player props. I'm not sure how you just do a positive player prop. I guess you could, but he's been long on the record against negative player props, especially on marginal players. I would think that now I think the books would be more than willing at this point to, you know, limit some of these bets. I think that's the win the NBA can get on this. But again, you know, if you know, everybody's asking the wrong question. The question is not whether or not should the NBA be aligned with legalized gambling. Today, the question is, should legalized gambling be aligned with the NBA? That's the question, right?
Or any other sport, maybe? We're just talking about
any other sport, because right now what we've seen here is they did their job, and the NBA didn't do their job. So obviously, as far as we know, the other leagues are doing their jobs because we haven't heard about any of this stuff. So, you know, and we hear about, you know, betting markets that are flagged and shut down all the time. That happens all the time. And it's not necessarily because of Terry Rozier and the mob. It's because a sharp player in Las Vegas went to the window at Circa and wanted to put $10,000 on someone's under tonight. And like Circa or Westgate, if they know him, they'll take the bet, but then they'll take the market down after. So that happens all the time. And that's not necessarily because of corruption. It's just because somebody knows something or somebody thinks that something's going to happen. The other challenge the NBA has, like Perk was talking about, is you know, this privileged private information that apparently Damon Jones was telling everybody that would listen what was going on.
Including about LeBron James, who had nothing to do with any of this.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, I don't know how you handle that. Again, for me, more, you know, everything in public, the more information that gets out there for everybody benefits. You know, this again, here, this is an argument to say maybe they ought to release everything so that there's no advantage, there's no privileged information. I understand, you know, guys are hurt, you don't want to release that stuff.
Game time decision.
Yeah, but the problem with that is somebody already knows what the decision is.
Yeah, absolutely. With very, very, very few exceptions, if they're out there warming up and they tweak something, occasionally that will
Exactly.
happen. I thought Perk's point, though, when he says his phone's blowing up all the time, what do you think if those text messages are Perk? Who's playing tonight? Is he really hurt? I guarantee you 99% of those messages are exactly that. Somebody wants information from him regarding any game, whether he's covering it or not. What do you know? So they can put a prop bet in. I also think it was fascinating yesterday because we might be talking about this today. What happened yesterday? Also, Charlie Baker and the NCAA, they allow now college players can bet on professional sports, which also threw people nuts. And again, I think it's a good thing because if the shenanigans will get caught. You know, there's some other people that say, "See, we're just adding to the issue." No, you're not. You're protecting the books, and they're protecting the integrity of the games. If something is off, it's easier to spot.
Well, again, sunshine is the best disinfectant, both in terms of literally it is, like scientifically it is, thanks to radiation, but also metaphorically, it is the best disinfectant. literally and metaphorically. So the more information, the more oversight. Yeah, the timing on that was pretty bad. And to his credit, Charlie, even though he signed the Massachusetts Sports Wagering Act of 2022 into law on August 10th, a great day for America, he's long been opposed to all college props. You cannot bet college props in Massachusetts. So, in that case, that in a nutshell, and I know you have another guest coming.
No, not till 10 past. So take your time.
Okay, but in a nutshell, the prop bets are what most concerns the leagues and the NCAA. Not sides, not totals. I mean, it's really hard to and we always make fun of Al Michaels, and we love Al Michaels and Brent. Last night was vintage Al. It was awesome.
Yes.
But the integrity issue always lies to prop bets. And the other issue that no one's talked about yet, because it hasn't surfaced, and in my opinion, it is like right under the crust of the earth, is officiating. Because we saw it with Tim Donaghy. And, the issue with officiating in the NFL and the NBA is reaching critical mass. And those leagues are going to have to do something in regard to, because everybody watching the game sees stuff that the refs at the game don't see. And that's an untenable situation. Forget gambling, just for the games in general. If there was no gambling, people would be screaming bloody murder about the Chiefs.
Yeah, but to your point, yesterday SEC suspended referee Ken Williamson for the calls in the Georgia-Auburn game.
Yeah,
Georgia's win over Auburn, and they were horrible. I mean,
oh my God, yeah. So I only saw 1,000 tweets about somebody needs to check his DraftKings account.
Yeah.
Although, in this case, I mean, Kirby just used his like Darth Vader mind meld on it.
Yeah.
And he just freaking folded under questioning. I don't know about this guy.
I don't know about this guy. You're a funny guy, Bill. So what is, I know you've had, seriously, I must have seen you do 8 interviews yesterday in a matter of, I don't know, just a few hours. What's your schedule? How requested are you locally, regionally, and nationally today?
Oh, I'm tapped out, thank God. I did four video hits yesterday, 3 stations in Boston, and then Fox News Edge, which produces local segments for Fox outlets. We actually talked about the Sports Equinox, which is Monday. Quick aside, on Monday, all 4 leagues are back in action, Sports Equinox.
Yeah.
And there will be a time maybe around between 9:30 and 10:30 on Monday night where you will see Shohei Ohtani, Patrick Mahomes, Sidney Crosby, and Steph Curry all playing.
Yeah.
And that's fun. Prop bets, parlay bets. That's a fun parlay, obviously, if you want to parlay that, And again, I'm no fan of parlays, but if it's within your budget, $10, $20 parlay on Steph Curry, Patrick Mahomes, Shohei, and Sidney Crosby, I mean, when else do you get to do that on the same day?
And you got also Tuesday night, James Madison and Texas State, and UTEP and Kennesaw State, if you're into that as well. So you get college football too.
Yeah. So the Sports Equinox is fun. You're going to see come Monday, you'll see a lot of offers from a lot of different books. They'll have the Sports Equinox parlay and all that stuff. So I talked a little about that. But that's on Monday. That happened. That's the last Monday. And right now, given the way the baseball does the World Series and the NBA schedule, the Sports Equinox will be every last Monday in October, I think, until the end of time.
Bill, you're the best. Thank you so much. Get some sleep. I'm sure you're going to be exhausted. Really appreciate you coming on a Friday. Kind of short notice, but very happy to have you. Again, a plethora of knowledge and information on this like nobody else. So thank you so much, and we'll talk next week.
Okay, Pete. Anytime. Thank you.
Take care. There he goes, Bill Sparrows, senior betting analyst at bookies.com. All right, quick break. Then Jay Flannelly. Better late than never. That's on me. We will talk to Jay Flannelly up at Beeves World in Ann Arbor. Up next here on the Pete Sheppard Show on a football Freaky Friday as we try to decipher what the hell's going on in the NBA and this gambling investigation here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So, wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
That's because I'm an idiot and I didn't transition over. Anyway, just like that. Well, that was FBI Director Kash Patel giving you a little, which I played the cut earlier, all about what was going on with the NBA gambling investigation, which is the biggest story of the day. But we can get off that a little bit for a while. Jay Planley's up in Ann Arbor. From Beeves World joining us this morning. How are you with your knit hat? And you look like you look like you're ready for a mid-November Michigan shellacking of Michigan State. That's what it looks like. Your mic's muted.
Yeah, we went right from summer to 45, 50 degrees, and everybody's sick. I'm sick. I've been sick. Yeah, so it's wonderful. And of course, they schedule these night games, so just what we need. That's
what happens when you Michigan State, 7:30 on NBC.
Well, I mean, it's funny. Last week they put Michigan State on Peacock, so it's amazing. They were playing Indiana, so they were playing like with the number 2 team in the country. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. We should destroy this team, but I think they're going to do dirty stuff and try to injure Underwood and half our team. That's what they do. Just the reality of what goes on. Well, I don't have any evidence. I don't have any evidence of this. I'm like them beating our players in a tunnel or anything. We don't have any of that lately. So I mean, just to remember what's the best prognosticator of the future, the past.
All right. Well, besides that, 14.5 point favorite, and I think you guys win by 20. I do. And hopefully nobody will get hurt, and hopefully everybody will be. I mean, they'll be pushing some shoving, trash talking. Who knows what's going to happen pregame? Catherine Tappan better be careful on the sideline to get not involved in the mix of all that stuff. But hopefully it'll be. I'm actually looking forward to. I'll be watching a little bit of that game. I'll be focusing on the Hurricanes in Stanford, but I will have the quad box on some device that I have, and certainly that game will be right up there with the best of them. But anyway. It's unbelievable what's happened in the last, since 8:05, 8:10 yesterday when I had Trevor Harris on and this gambling stuff broke with the NBA. Like I said, I'm not surprised. And I texted you a little bit. I think the national media people are missing the point here, that it's a good thing that this story happened, because if gambling wasn't legal, you would not have had this. And the bigger story here is, and just like it is, I'm sure, a lot of others, but the bigger story here is the NBA knew about this a couple of years ago. The book called the NBA and told them what was going on, and they did nothing. It's a bad look. It's a bad look for the NBA. They need to get out. They need to get out in front of it. But anyway, I don't know if you have any thoughts on it or what, or we can just stick with it.
No. I have a lot of thoughts about it. Yeah. You just made a really good point about them knowing about it for a while because the Terry Rozier thing. That goes back 2 years?
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff here, but to me, the single biggest thing is these leagues and these colleges now are directly in bed with these DraftKings, the FanDuels. Huh. You have some of this down in Florida with the FanDuel networks, which have replaced Bally Sports. that carry certain teams. Like out here, the Red Wings, Pistons, and the Tigers are all on FanDuel. So then the teams and the leagues take the money, and I'm not defending what Chauncey Billups and these guys did. I'm just explaining it's just business, okay?
Chauncey Billups is a different story.
I
That
know.
was flat out
Okay.
fucking cheating with fake poker tables and all that
That's
stuff.
I
That's a
know.
whole different. But that's
Oh,
a
yes.
whole different.
But I'm talking about. And by the way, not good. This is funny as hell. By the way, this went through yesterday. The NCAA is going to allow college athletes to bet on pro sports starting November.
I got no problem with that. I think it's a good thing because again, if something is amok, there's no shenanigans, you'll get caught. So I got no problem with it. I don't, because I think if it wasn't, you'd be able to possibly manipulate books or now it gets reported. You cannot screw these books over, whether you're here at Hard Rock in Florida or DraftKings, FanDuel, all that doesn't really matter. So I got no problem with that.
No. Well, as far as what's going, I'm sorry, eating.
Why do you do that? Why do you eat when we're doing an interview?
Not anymore. I'm good. So I just the biggest thing is you don't want the integrity of the game question, and you just made a good point with the with everybody. Everything's legal now, so they can trace everything. And a lot of this stuff is, I think, just Scary Terry was trying to help his buddies make money. He was giving them prop bets, and I don't think it was about him. I think he was trying to help some of his friends.
Absolutely,
getting prop bets.
Well, that's 99% of this is prop bets.
Yeah. So maybe figure out a way to. I don't know what you do with the prop bets. I'm not a big gambling guy.
I just talked about with Bill Sparrows. I think you brought up a great point. You see the betting analyst from bookies.com. I think what you do initially is you limit it to 6 players, not necessarily starters or whatever, but you limit it each game to 6 players. You start with that, because prop bets, and I mean, technically it doesn't affect like point shaving, but then it kind of does. We had Terry Rozier, fake a head injury or foot injury, pull himself out of the game. A box score where he shot 0 for 10 from 3 when he was supposed to make 2, 3. It's stuff like that. A lot of shenanigans, but I do think it's a good thing, and all the national pundits refused to acknowledge this morning on ESPN yesterday, last night, and today for the most part. Shaq and Chuck are the only ones that called out the NBA last night on ESPN. Everybody else
are unfireable.
Yeah, they don't want to just say that, hey, this is a good thing that gambling is legal. Otherwise, we would not have found out about this, and more likely than not. But we can move on. What?
Well, I mean, by the way, but just say this is important. Part of why ESPN has them so hard on this is they have their own betting service. Sure. The ESPN Bet they got their own shows. What's her name from Philadelphia?
But that's more the reason why to say, thank God it's legal. We found out about this, but they seemed afraid, because that's how ESPN, a lot of those people operate over there. They seemed afraid to even address that. I was like, you have your own betting show. You have a betting show every single day that's on. You have all your guys and girls are incorporated at some, whether it's ESPN, SEC, or ACC networks as well. They all talk about it. So why not just get out in front of it and just say, hey, this is a good thing. Thank God we have ESPN Sports Bet. Part of the reason why, people get red flagged when they make these ridiculous prop bets that cause bookmakers to scratch their heads and say, hey, no, something's not right here. I mean, it's a good thing. And I don't know why some of the ESPN people are afraid to talk about it being a good thing.
Well, no, I think again, this goes back to like Brent Musburger back in the day, 40, 50 years ago. He'd say the spread. Al Michaels talked about it for years. So I think they're kind of worried that this is going to become the WWE. And we see this all the time, a lot with the Chiefs games. There's some weird stuff in these games. There's legitimate weird things that happen in the games, and then there's stuff that's happening in the Chiefs games. And, going back to the Tim Donaghy and the Sacramento Kings, Lakers, Game 7, I think is one people talks about all the time. This weird stuff. There's a bunch of, I hate to do this because you just talked about it, Chauncey Billups things. There's one Joe Murray back in Boston talked about the Portland Celtics game last year.
Yeah, the
at the end of the game.
Go for 10 shooting threes. I mean, that's and I agree. It's just scratching the surface. I mean, that's an obvious.
But I like your idea you and Bill came up with the only have like the 6 or 7 best players in the team stars.
Well, it doesn't have to be the 7 best. It just has to limit it to 6. Say just 6 players total.
Yeah.
You know,
yes. So you, okay.
The SEC suspended referee Ken Williamson for the controversial. Did you see the Georgia thing over Auburn? Those were that was horrible.
I know.
Horrible.
I know. It was pretty bad.
I think we're going to start seeing more and more suspensions of referee. I mean, the NBA is a joke. The NBA is a joke. And the NFL is a joke a lot of the weeks too. It really is.
Thank God Angel Hernandez isn't active anymore in baseball. Oh my God, he wouldn't be allowed in a building.
He was blind, basically.
No, yeah, I mean, he was pretty bad. He was pretty bad.
Yeah,
pretty bad. There's some about there's Scott Foster's one of the guys in the NBA. There's a couple. I don't watch the NBA as much as I used to, but it's amazing. The sport I think doesn't have a lot of this is the NHL, which is kind of weird.
Well, the thing with the NHL is you get to playoff time, you get into overtime, and then it's a little different now because it's 3-on-3 and it becomes more obvious. But the refs swallow their whistle here, they swallow the whistle there, a penalty.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Necessarily a period in overtime. But I think it's very. I mean, there's always some controversy, but nothing like the other 3. Nothing like I think the NBA and NFL are 1 and 1A, and then Major League Baseball is as far as balls and strikes goes, it's they still probably get it way more right, over 98% of the time than wrong. And we'll see next year when you're able to challenge balls and strikes. You get a couple of challenges next year. We'll see what happens. But I think baseball gets the replays right for the most part. I think college football, the NFL, and the NBA, the officiating is mediocre at best.
Like C grade, basically middle.
Yeah.
And by the way, again, if you want to fix this, I was talking about this today. I mean, yesterday at work, full-time officials, hire these guys, pay them, control them, make them like a union. You can control and fire them easier. Things like that. Like what just happened, you just mentioned the Auburn, Alabama ref, that guy.
Yeah. But a lot of these guys,
you're really bad at your job, you should be able to lose your job.
A lot of these guys are attorneys or professionals. They already have good jobs, and I used to aspire to that theory, Jay. But as far as especially in the NFL, make them full time, blah blah blah. I don't know if that's necessarily going to do anything. I really don't. It's just either. I mean, these guys are the bigger, strong. My, and not to be age discriminatory, but Jesus, maybe once you get past 45 years old, you can't do it anymore. These guys are so big and strong. I mean, it's just that's my biggest thing. Some of these older guys have no idea. They can't run down the field like that, and they're getting in the way, and some of them are out of shape. I think it's better now, but I think that's the thing. You should only be allowed to ref to a certain age. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Start recruiting and teaching these younger guys, whether it starts, high school. So I'm sure most refs start Pop Warner, then go to high school, then go to college, and you don't just go into the NFL as an official. It's a.
You would think so. You would think that would be correct. Yes.
Yeah.
You never know, but I tend to agree with you.
But anyway,
I'm sure we can find somebody who hasn't done this forever, who's just kind of once in a while it happens, but you never know. But I tend to agree with you. So talk to me about let's do some football. You wanted to do some football. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Because I don't want to keep you long. You sound like you need to go back to bed, and it's. Well, no, I don't blame you. I mean, you're not feeling well, so I totally get it. So there's a lot of interesting games this week. Was not a lot.
Well, thank God. I went to the hockey game last night, so I didn't get to watch the Bruins give up 7 goals. So that was fun.
How'd Michigan do last night?
They beat the number 2 team in the country, Western Michigan, 4-0, and they're going to. It's a home.
Is Michigan number 1 right now? I mean,
no, 3. We're 3. This is funny. Michigan State 1.
Yeah.
for another weekend. That won't last because if we're going to sweep.
Wait till my
Western.
Friars. My Friars have only played 3 games. They're ranked 8th, but they started off the season ranked.
So Michigan played them and swept them.
I did. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
and so number 2 is Western, and we're 3rd. We're undefeated. We're 7-0. We've allowed 7 goals, Pete.
That's great.
That's great. We're playing really well. The goal. I was the guest of the backup goalie last night.
Oh, how was the crowd? How was the crowd?
It was really good. I mean, Yost is famous for having great crowd, and it's weird. Thursday night game is weird for us because of the Sparty game on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We had 2 weekends in a row where they played Thursday and Friday, but this thing. So today we played here, and then tomorrow today they're going to Western, so that's going to be big. And Western's defending national champions, so. It's a big game, big series, big game.
Too bad you weren't. That would have been something if you guys were playing at Michigan State, the hockey team, this week, and then you have the game. That could have been a hell of a road trip for some. That's Wolverine fans.
You know, you sounds like you should be an athletic director or something, Pete. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, why not?
But believe it or not, the Big Ten hockey people. This is a little known. It's a well known. What I'm about to tell you, and the hockey and football people really don't coordinate, and they kind of hate each other.
Yeah,
I know it's stupid. It's like working at McDonald's and the chicken McNuggets guy hate the guys who hate the burgers. It's the same stupid thing, but it is. It's kind of a dumb thing. And when Kevin Warren was the commissioner, he barely did anything with hockey. He showed up at one of our games, and people didn't know who he was. It was pretty damn funny, the hockey games.
Unbelievable. All right, man. I'm gonna let you go. There's one game I'd like your thoughts on though this weekend.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, I think Missouri Vanderbilt. I'm a little. Wow. I'm getting.
The funniest thing about that, Pete, is
I'm getting Vandied out. I'm getting Vandied out. You know, I just.
Quarterback's kind of a yapper.
It's a great story. I don't mind being. I feel like I'm getting Vanderbilt Commodore football shoved down my throat unnecessarily, and I hope Missouri wins by 50. But I think that's going to be
Coach Drenkovich is going to be a candidate for some of these jobs, like Florida and Penn State.
Absolutely. Well, we know Matt Rhule from Penn State.
Well, I mean, if he keeps losing games,
yeah.
I mean, by the way, if you're Penn State, why wouldn't you call PJ Fleck?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
The funniest thing is when you keep hearing all the things with Franklin. I told you 2 weeks ago, UCLA, and that keeps coming up.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. By the way, Missouri. The funniest thing is when you said, think about this, Pete, like 5 years ago, pre-NIL in the portal, did you ever think we'd be talking about Vanderbilt and Missouri football?
Well, Missouri not too far off. Kansas and Missouri back in the early 2000s, like where USF was ranked second. But Vanderbilt. I mean, the Vanderbilt story is really an amazing story, considering where they have been and the SEC doormat for football for many years. I mean, it's just amazing. So I think it's good. I think it's good for college football. I just feel like sometimes lately, starting at the end of last year, that they're just shoving Vanderbilt football down my throat. I mean, that's,
Well, Pete, you know this because you follow college baseball. Vanderbilt's got a lot of money.
Oh God, yeah.
So they have an advantage with the NIL and the portal. Back in the day, how a lot of this would work is the bags of money. Bubba, the car dealer.
Yeah.
Now it's tech guys, it's oil guys, it's big money guys, it's financial guys, it's serious big money, and it's out in the open. So a place like Vanderbilt, Indiana has a lot of money. People didn't know that. Obviously, Michigan, we got our quarterback this way. And other programs, Ohio State spent like $35-40 million on their roster to keep their team together. We kept our team together 2 years ago. So it's interesting, USC spending now more. So, you look at things and how it works. I'm sure Carson Beck wasn't cheap for your Hurricanes.
No, $7 million. $7 million.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's That's fine, and hopefully they will kick.
Yeah,
the
it is what it is.
Right.
No, it's all legal now, so why not?
All right, so finally, so what's your schedule like Saturday? What are you doing? Hopefully you're feeling better. You watching the game at home?
Yeah.
You're just chilling.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go open the garage bar in the morning. We'll be open I think by noon, so I'll probably get there like 9:30 ish. I'll set all the TVs for the restaurant. That's one of my jobs, and I haven't looked yet at the schedule. Because we're playing at 7:30.
Yeah,
I don't have to, and that even I can't screw that up. It's on one channel, and I believe it's on Fox.
NBC.
Just get
NBC.
there. You go. Like I said, see, you just helped me. I have the schedule over there.
That's what I said. I don't want our friend Catherine Tappan getting crushed to the sidelines for some petty Michigan State.
See, Pete, here's the schedule. See, I have my schedule. I didn't look at it. So so at noon we got Ole Miss, Oklahoma. That's going to be on ABC. We got Indiana, UCLA, which will be on Fox.
Yep.
And the big noon guys are going to be at Indiana. There's another one, Pete. 4 or 5 years ago, if we said that, would you believe that?
No.
That Indiana would be the power they are.
Yeah.
And not only that, they secured their coach, so he's not going anywhere. So, but no, it's going to be fun. It's going to be tomorrow's going to be a lot like an NFL Sunday. There's a couple channels I'll put on, and then I'll go home.
Yep.
And I'll chill. And I'm going to watch ETSU on ESPN Plus because my buddy Cade McNamara is their quarterback, and they're playing Warford. There you go. So I got that one right. So there you go.
Boom. Gotta love it.
See, Warford wants some promotion and NIL. I just did it for them. There you go. And they're playing ETSU. Is that a Drake May shirt you're wearing?
Yeah, it is. It's actually an old Mac Jones shirt that has the name cut off in the back.
You did that? That's funny.
Yeah.
Did you think that was a little weird?
I don't have a lot of jerseys.
Number that early?
I don't care. I don't have a lot of jerseys. This is one Patriot jersey, the one that's like $50 or $75. I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of jerseys. So I wear this one. I wear this one on Fridays.
I probably have about 40 jerseys. I'm looking at them over there.
Yeah. I have tons of T-shirts.
I've got about,
but as far as jerseys or sweaters, I have a really cool Providence Bruins sweater that was given to me by a vet. It's really cool. And I have plenty of Patriot T-shirts and Celtics and Tampa Bay and Miami Hurricanes shirts. I have plenty of T-shirts, but like official shirts like this one is, might be my only one.
Pete, two things before you let me go. Who's your all-time favorite Hurricane player?
Oh, that's to be honest with you.
So many good
oh my God, probably Ed Reed.
Good answer.
Ed Reed. Yeah.
Okay, all-time favorite Bruin.
Well, Bobby Orr, of course, and then after that, Terry O'Reilly. Terry O'Reilly, I loved. When I played hockey, I wore 24 because of him. I loved him. I loved his style. But of course, Bobby Orr first, Terry O'Reilly second, and Phil Esposito. Back in the day, Ray Bork. I mean, there's just so many.
My favorite Bruin of all time, Brad Park.
Yeah.
Love Brad Park.
Another great choice. Came over in the trade, from the Rangers.
And if you need to ask me who my favorite Michigan player is, you have no idea who the hell I am.
Who's your favorite Michigan player? Oh, Tom.
Mr. Tom over here. I pointed. Tom's going to kill me. I pointed to JJ. Tom over there. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Hopefully, and by the way, JJ needs to get healthy. If you haven't noticed, the Vikings. Oh my God.
Well, you can only go so far with Carson Wentz, and he kind of acted like an idiot last night at the end.
That's actually you just did a commercial. Yeah, it's like a commercial. You can only go so far with Carson Wentz.
You can't. I mean, you got to be more of a leader out there. You can't be throwing your helmet. I know he's frustrated and all that stuff, but he came off. I took the Chargers. I had a nice 3-team parlay last night, including the Chargers, the over, and the Oklahoma City Thunder game, and Golden State on the money line. It was a good team.
Like the 3 overtime game, yeah.
Yeah, 3 over.
There you go.
Great.
That was good.
I had a good. It was
okay,
good.
buddy.
All right, go ahead. Get better. Feel better. Good luck to your Wolverines.
Okay, B.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good rest of your weekend, and enjoy your Friday, buddy.
We'll
talk to you later.
Thanks. Here it goes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, it's Jay Planley leaving us to get better. All right. Last week, I was off at my high school reunion, 40th high school reunion at Bishop Hendricken High School in Warwick. It was fantastic, but I didn't do pigskin picks. However, it is time. We got pigskin picks, my pigskin picks coming up, where I pick against the spread in every single NFL game, not just winners. Anybody can pick winners. It's against the spread. And then I have my top 5, which I'll begin with my top 5 college football games of the day, then my underdog of the week, and my best bet of the week. And I'm going to do that now at 9 o'clock. John Meter Perel is going to join me, BC football play-by-play guy, and they have they just can't get blown out. They got Louisville this week. We'll talk to him about that and some other games in the ACC at 9 o'clock. And then Gabe Morency from Sports Grid will join me at 9:30 for his awesome picks. But right now, yes, everybody, it is that time for Pete Sheppard's Picks. When last we spoke about this incredible subject, it was a couple of weeks ago. I ended up going, not a great week, 6-9 against the spread in the NFL, but 3-2 as I continue to dominate college. So overall, here's what it's looking like. In the NFL, I'm 4 games under 500. I promise you to go at least 4 games over 500 this week, or the next month is free. Promise you. So I am 44-48-1. That's a 479 winning percentage in the NFL. College football, 16-14-0. That's a 533 winning percentage. Overall combined, 60-62-1, a 492 winning percentage. So let's begin right here. My best bets, by the way, 3-3 at 500, and underdog of the week, 4-2 so far, 667 winning percentage. And remember, the games for my best bets or my underdog of the week don't necessarily have to be some of the games that I'm picking right now, 5 in college and this week 10 in the NFL, because there's a bunch of teams that have bye weeks. 6 teams have bye weeks. So there's only 11 games total, including the Monday night game. So let's start with in college football, shall we? Let's begin with the Virginia Cavaliers. They are minus 10.5 at North Carolina. Noontime tomorrow on the ACC network. I have no faith in Bill Belichick. I have no faith in coaching the North Carolina Tar Heels. They bumbled and stumbled and fumbled their way once again last week at Cal. And that team stinks. They're not very good. Or they're okay. This team, Virginia, is a very good football team. I think they blow out North Carolina. I think you'll be seeing the fans leaving again at halftime, where Carolina has this game covered by the half. Virginia has this game covered by the half. They go on to win by at least 3 touchdowns. So Virginia minus 10.5. Noon tomorrow on the ACC network. Next, the game many of you may not watch. It's on ESPN Plus at 3:30 tomorrow. Miami of Ohio minus 1.5 versus Western Michigan. This is a good one for Miami of Ohio. They dominate this team. Love it. Miami of Ohio at home minus 1.5 versus the Broncos of Western Michigan. Next, Missouri is at Vandy. You just heard me talk about this with Jay a little bit as far as Vanderbilt being thrown and shoved down our throats, blah, 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 blah. And this should be one hell of a game. It really should. In Nashville tomorrow. It is on ESPN. Hang on. It is on 3:30 on ESPN tomorrow. But I'm taking Missouri plus 2.5. Missouri plus 2.5. I think they win the game outright at Vanderbilt. Next. Texas A&M is a 2.5-point favorite at LSU. New England native Brian Kelly coaching for his life and his job life. Should they lose this game, he might be gone come Monday morning. The last 8 times in this series has been won by the home team. But I'm going against the grain here. I just do not believe in LSU. Tough place to play, Death Valley. This game will take place 7:30 on ABC tomorrow night. Texas A&M minus 2.5. I think the Aggies are playing some great football to win at LSU. And finally, top 5. I got Michigan minus 14.5 at Michigan State. That is at 7:30 on NBC. Just talked about that game a little bit with Jay Flanley. I'm laying the 14.5. I think Michigan State is not a very good football team. I know it's a rivalry game, so anything can happen. Yada, yada, yada. Insert all the cliches here. I get it. I think it's close for the first half, and then Michigan's just too talented. They pull away, and they win that game. They cover the 14.5, and they get it done. So to recap, in the college football, I have Virginia minus 10.5, Miami of Ohio minus 1.5, Missouri plus 2.5, Texas A&M minus 2.5, and Michigan minus 14.5. All right, let's head to the NFL, Sheppard. Let's do it. I'm already 1-0 because I gave you the Chargers last night, minus 3.5, so I'm already 1-0 to start the week. Next up, the Bears, 6.5-point dogs at Baltimore. Still not sure at press time, which is now for me, if Lamar Jackson is going to play or not. But the Ravens are in trouble. The Bears are red hot right now. I'm taking the Bears, and if Lamar Jackson does play, I'm not sure how long he's going to last. That being said, I will take the 6.5-point head start with the Bears. Bears plus 6.5 at Baltimore. There you go. Next, the Patriots are a 7-point favorite at home against Cleveland. Patriots minus 7. They are playing very well. Drake May is completing 92% of his passes. It's ridiculous in games. Unbelievable. Yes, Cleveland has a very, very good defense. Statistically, one of the best in the NFL. It may be another slow start for the Patriots, but in the end, I want to see a fast start defensively. I don't want Dylan Gabriel marching them down the field and scoring a touchdown on the first drive. Will we see Shedeur Sanders if things go awry for Mizrael Gabriel? We shall see. But I don't want Shedeur Sanders coming in and making his debut against the Patriots either and having some stupid, freaky headline. I think the Patriots are playing well. I think Mike Vrabel has drilled it into these guys' heads not to get complacent. And I think they take care of business and they win by a couple of touchdowns over Cleveland. Next, the absolute pathetic Miami Dolphins go to Atlanta. Atlanta is a 7-point favorite all day. All day, Miami cannot get out of their own way. Head coach Charlie Brown, a.k.a. Mike McDaniel, is a joke. The whole organization is a joke. They're in entire disarray. I don't know how anybody can feel positive about the Miami Dolphins. I think they get creamed by the Atlanta Falcons. Tommy Penix coming up. Next, the Philadelphia Eagles are a 7-point favorite at home against the Giants. The Giants embarrassed them a couple of weeks ago. On Thursday Night Football, I think the Eagles get big-time revenge here. Big-time revenge. Despite A.J. Brown still tweeting out stuff like they used me, but they didn't use me. Jalen Hurts had a perfect game passer rating last week. Between Smith and Brown, I don't know what else you want. Saquon Barkley may have some right to complain a little bit. He's still having, statistically, not a great year by any stretch of the imagination, but nevertheless, I think the Eagles get revenge big time on the Giants, and they cover the 7 and win. Philly minus 7 versus the Giants. Next, the Cincinnati Bengals are 6.5-point favorites at home versus the Jets. I don't know why this line is so low. And the Jets have lost a lot of one-score games, I get it. Aaron Glenn this week talking about Justin Fields and Woody Johnson. You talk about a more screwed-up organization than the Miami Dolphins, I give you the Jets. Or it's really, really close. I actually think the Dolphins are ahead from top to bottom. But Woody Johnson with no face in Justin Fields, so Tyrod Taylor's going to lead the way for the Jets. I think the Bengals win by double digits. Bengals minus 6.5. Next, tough one. Houston at home, coming off that Monday night loss in a short week, but they're coming home to take on San Francisco. And comeback player of the year candidate, Mac Jones. Houston's minus 1.5-point favorite in this game. You know what? I'm going to take the Texans here. It's almost a flip of a coin. Tough one. I won't touch this with a 10-foot pole in real life. But for the purposes of this show and this segment, Houston minus 1.5 versus San Francisco. Again, that team traveling, the only team that does well in these 1 o'clock games when they're on the West Coast is Seattle. They're unbelievable. San Fran, not so much. Houston minus 1.5. Next, New Orleans and Tampa Bay. New Orleans is a 4.5-point underdog at home against Baker Mayfield and the Mike Evans-less Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game, no matter who's playing, I don't care if it's Tom Brady or Baker Mayfield or Spencer Rattler, it doesn't matter. These teams hate each other. It's always close. Doesn't matter. I'm taking New Orleans plus 4.5. I think Tampa will win the game, but it'll come down to the wire. This might go overtime as well. but I will take the 4.5-point head start with New Orleans plus 4.5. Next, the Denver Broncos are 3.5-point favorites at home against the Dallas Cowboys. As a lot of people think the Dallas Cowboys are going to win a shootout. Yes, I do think there's going to be some points scored in this game, but I am still not yet sold on the Cowboys. Tough call here, but I want to take the Denver Broncos at home at -3.5 to get the job done over the Cowboys, to barely cover, but they cover. Next, Indianapolis is a 14-point favorite at home versus Tennessee. I hate laying this kind of number usually in the NFL, but as much as my man Cam Ward, I love him to death out of the U, that offensive line is absolutely pathetic. I mean, he shredded the Patriots on the first drive yesterday, and then they completely shut him down. After that, as most teams have done, Indianapolis is playing great football. Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones, and I said this before earlier this week, he is in contention to be comeback player of the year and MVP. How about that? Indy, -14. Next, Green Bay is a 3-point favorite at Pittsburgh. Is it a revenge game for Aaron Rodgers going up against the Packers and Jordan Love and blah, blah, blah? He says he doesn't think it is. I don't know if I believe him or not, nor do I care. I know Pittsburgh is a fraud team. They're a fraud team. Green Bay, -3. Green Bay all day. Steelers are a fraud team. This is all smoke and mirrors of what they are doing with that team. I'm sorry. And Mike Tomlin's a very good coach. Respect him. I have no faith in the Steelers. Green Bay all day, -3. And then Kansas City on Monday night is a 10.5-point favorite versus Washington. No Jaden Daniels. The Commanders are banged up. All of a sudden, the Chiefs are the talk of the town again. It's a tough line here, even without Jaden Daniels in it, but the Commanders are banged up. I am laying the 10.5 Chiefs, -10.5 versus Washington. All right, meanwhile, to recap once again, the Bears, +6.5. The Patriots, -7. Atlanta, -7. Philadelphia, -7. The Bengals, -6.5. Houston, -1.5. New Orleans, +4.5. Denver, -3.5. Indy, -14. And Green Bay, -3. Kansas City, also -10.5. I want to make sure I get the spread right here. For my best bet of the week, we return to college football. The U, Miami, and Stanford. Miami's favored by 29.5 or 30.5. I'm not going in that direction, but I am going is over 45.5. I think the Hurricanes respond big time. Miami, Stanford, over 45.5. That is my best bet of the week. And my underdog of the week is going to be the New Orleans Saints, +4.5 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That game is always close. Those teams hate each other. It's fantastic. All right, so there you have it. That is my pigskin picks for the week. When we come back and take a quick break, we will have 9 o'clock. John Mina Perella is going to join us. And hang on, never know what texts are going to bring. Those surprises are going to bring. Meter needs a link. You're supposed to. Now I got to text Angel who's sick. Meter doesn't save anything. I tell him to save it. He doesn't save it. So I got to text Angel who's sick. So hopefully, Meter's going to join us at 9 o'clock this morning. Gabe Morency, Sports Grid. He's back with his picks and analysis at 9:30 this morning. He's also a big Dodger fan as well. Dodgers and Blue Jays, though, by the way, play tonight, Game 1 in Toronto. Right-handed rookie Trey Savage is going for the Dodgers, and Blake Snell, or for the Blue Jays, and Blake Snell is going for LA. The Chargers also beat Minnesota last night, in case you missed it, 37-10. Hey, Phil Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles, so check them out. Phil Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus at 184 Broadway. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. Be there. Meanwhile, for the best articles and audio, there's only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. Staff combing through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial at Total Sports Prep, contact them, info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. Pete Sheppard Show continues here in just a few minutes after this quick break on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing.
That is FBI Director Kash Patel yesterday at about 10 o'clock in the morning with a press conference, and it is the biggest story without a doubt from the last 24 hours or so. It broke around this time, a little bit earlier, around 8:10 on Thursday morning. But here we are. It is it's huge. Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups, Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, former Cleveland Cavaliers player and assistant coach Damon Jones, all arrested as part of a pair of wide-ranging investigations related to illegal sports betting and rigged poker games backed by the mafia. Billups and Rozier have been placed on leave from their teams, the NBA said in a very lame statement. A total of 34 people arrested as a result of a year-long investigation that covering 11 states involving tens of millions of dollars. You heard Kash Patel there said law enforcement officials said the multiple charges involved 4 mafia families and organized crime networks, with Patel saying the money involved, that fraud is mind-boggling. I think we're only scratching the surface. We had a great interview earlier today with Bill Sparrows. I highly recommend after the show is over, you go back and watch it. It was early at 7:30 in the morning. Great stuff. I want to play this cut again because I think it is relevant, and obviously there's a lot of reaction from a lot of people all over. This one, I think, though, is special. From TMZ Sports yesterday, Michael Francesi, former capital regime for the Colombo family, who went to jail for an unbelievable gas tax scheme that made $5 to $10 million a week. It's one of the more brilliant mafia schemes of all time, I got to say, until you get caught. But he's making $5 to $10 million a week for the family. And anyway, he did 10 years in jail. He came out rehabilitated, rejuvenated, whatever you want, and they didn't whack him. So it's amazing that one of these guys, he did the time in jail, but he has come out and now he's changed, and he does speeches all over the country. You see him in all the documentaries. He's very well spoken. But here is former Mafia captain Michael Francesi on TMZ Sports talking about the gambling platforms. I think this is very fascinating.
How do you get players who are making millions in some cases to get involved in something like this?
I don't think you understand the level of gambling among professional athletes, even college athletes. And I've been doing this for 30 years since they recruited me. All the leagues recruited me out of prison, back in 1994, because they knew they were having such a problem. And I had a number of bookmakers working for me. The FBI filled them in on that. So they chose me to come and speak to the players and try to dissuade them from getting involved with organized crime. You don't realize, gambling is an extension of their competitive nature. It raises the stakes in the competition. These guys get themselves in so much trouble. Doesn't matter how much money they make. And, let me use Michael Jordan as an example. There was a time when I said Michael had a real gambling problem because he gambles on everything. And I've witnessed it in certain cases when I was working with the NBA. But, he came out in that thing that he did, the documentary on him, and he said, I don't have a gambling problem. I have a competition problem. I'm not shocked what I see with Chauncey Billups. I'm not shocked with that player that, gave some information. I'm going to come out early in the game, and this way you can bet the under on me, and we'll split it up afterwards. I mean, this happens all the time. It hasn't changed over the past 30 years.
Do these players know they're dealing with organized crime, or are the organized criminals smart enough to kind of disguise that, and that the players never really know they're dealing with the mafia?
No, they know it. But look, you got to see guys in that life, they're smooth. You're in trouble. You come to me, at the time, say, look, I want to help you out. I don't want to hurt you. I'm never going to put you in trouble. I'm not going to tell on you. You know who I am. Let's do this together. I'll make some money from you. I'll make some money for you. You make some money for me. The more access you have to gambling, the more people are going to get involved in it, and the more people are going to get in trouble. There's no question about it. The leagues now have basically adopted gambling. They're saying, hey, it's okay. You can gamble. And you can't give people access like that.
Yeah, well, again, it's you can give them access, but you got to know you're going to get caught now because gambling is legal. And that is what a lot of the national pundits, I've been saying all morning long, don't want to come out and say, hey, it's a good thing it is legal. This has been going on. Otherwise, they never would have found out. It's very, very, very difficult now to pull the wool over these bookmakers' eyes. They are ready, especially with prop bets. They are ready, and they called the NBA a couple of years ago about this, and the NBA did nothing. So Adam Silver's got a big, fat ostrich egg, pterodactyl yolk all over his face. Here's legal analyst Danny Cevallos on the gambling news from the NBA. This is from Sirius XM NBA Radio.
Expect a PR campaign that focuses on isolating what they perceive to be the bad actors. I mean, the best case scenario is that they can cut out or separate from the people they perceive as being bad news. Obviously, alleged members of the crime families, but of course the players and coaches too, even though they are, as you say, presumed innocent. The reality is anytime the government releases an indictment like this, the only voice anybody hears for months at a time is the government's version of the case. So the NBA cannot wait until an adjudication of guilt. They cannot wait for a verdict or a guilty plea. They have to act immediately and distance themselves from all of this conduct.
And it's going to be interesting to see if Mr. Silva comes out today and says something. He got to. Meanwhile, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, Joseph Nocella Jr., called it, quote, one of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States. All right, more reaction. Let us hear from, let us hear, well, this is how it went down yesterday on ESPN with Sham Shania on the update. This is how it broke.
We are back on Get Up Live in New York with major breaking news, as we've touched on early this morning, from the NBA involving not one but two arrests of notable people within the NBA. Shams is with us. We've been following your Twitter feed all morning long, Shams, as you've been reporting on it. For those who've not heard anything about this, just tell everyone everything they need to know. What has happened this morning?
Greeny, Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier have both been arrested this morning. Billups at around 6 a.m. in Portland, Oregon, and Rozier around 6 a.m., I'm told, in Orlando, where the Heat were playing last night. Rozier's been arrested for his involvement in alleged sports gambling, prop bets, and Billups.
All right, you guys all know the story. Meter's going to join us in just a second here. Here's from, in fact, there he is. But real quick, let's get to sports law professor Gabe Feldman on the gambling situation. Again, Sirius XM NBA Radio.
You will see when they have these press conferences, they want to win the press conference, and right. They want to make headlines, and they want to be seen as cracking down on criminal activity. And you can say we've got not only mafia families, but we also have NBA players. And it doesn't get much bigger than that, having the mafia and professional athletes involved in a case.
It's kind of. I can't wait for the movie. John Meadowpearl joining us right now, the play-by-play voice for the Boston College Eagles and the ACC network as well. You can hear me, John, right?
I can, Pete. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear and see you, looking happy and handsome. So when you host these $1 million poker games at your house, I mean, what, $1 million minimum. I've never been invited, but I hear you are a gracious host.
Oh yeah, you ever see that movie with Jessica Chastain?
Yes.
She was Molly Bloom, Molly's Game.
True story. Great stuff.
True story. Jeremy Bloom's sister, former Philadelphia Eagle. I thought of her yesterday. I read the book and the games that she used to run with the Hollywood elite. I never quite reached that level, Pete. I know you had your moments down at Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun, but this is just
around the state.
incomprehensible.
Your initial thought. I mean, look, I think this is a horrible look for the NBA because this is going on. And it doesn't matter who was in office and who wasn't in office at the time. The fact that the books called the NBA and told them about this and they did nothing. Bad NBA. Bad.
What do you do? Like, I don't track these things, and I know you keep a closer eye than I do, but the Terry Rozier game when he was with the Celtics in 2018.
0 for 10 from 3.
Yeah, and he had a great series before that.
My! It wasn't my arm is broken like a Caddyshack, but my head, my foot. Oh no, I got a hangnail. Jeez, I think one of my balls fell off. I got to come out of the game.
It's one of the. It's right. I have a flesh wound.
That's a great scene in Vacation. It's a flesh wound.
It's a flesh wound. So I talked to a few people yesterday. Bill O'Brien, one of them, who obviously has been on a professional level as a coach. He couldn't believe it, but I think it just speaks to what the current reality is with all of this. I mean, it's just so easy. I mean, I know Terry Rozier wasn't on DraftKings, but I think that's a trickle down effect now too. With you got to worry about 16-year-olds, you got to worry about 13-year-olds, you got to worry about.
But the bottom line is, it's a good. It's a horrible look for the NBA, but it's because gambling is legal now, and you cannot pull the wool over these bookmakers' eyes. So I know people have missed that point. I've been saying all morning long nationally. It's a good thing that gambling is legal because you find out about stuff like this, and the fact that that they knew about this, the NBA a couple of years ago, did nothing about it. I think we're just scratching the surface here, but it's a good thing because if something is awry, you're going to find out about it immediately, particularly with prop bets. You cannot pull the wool over these bookmakers' eyes. Not like you could when gambling was illegal for the most part. It was much easier. Now somebody 4, 5, 6 times, 80 times removed. You see a prop bet coming up or anything that looks way out of the ordinary, you're getting flagged, and there's going to be phone calls made. So, and this on top of yesterday, Charlie Baker saying that kids can bet on college kids can bet on professional sports. I got no problem with that either because if something goes awry, it's going to be noticed and picked up, and you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, I agree with you on some levels. I think it's going to create. We can debate this all morning about addiction versus non-addiction, and how deep do you get?
That's a whole different. I agree with you. That's a whole different issue. I'm just talking about trying to manipulate a system that you could.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's why.
That's different.
That's why I think people really had trouble comprehending this yesterday. Gambling this just is legal in most states. So, what are you doing? Like, do you have that big of a Jones? That big of a rush? I heard Shaq talk about this last night inside the NBA. It was great.
I played the cut.
Yeah, good. So he's making $26 million a year, Terry Rozier. Yep. So it tells you how deep the addiction is.
Well,
for him to want to make $50,000.
We had one of the analysts that I play, and he talked about Michael Jordan, and he said Michael Jordan had a competitive addiction. He just needed to bet on it because he was competitive. Whether you want to, use that excuse or whatever or not. And I think a lot of people fall down in that. I mean, obviously, he's doing it on a much higher level. But Michael Jordan likes to bet, and you've heard these stories. likes to bet on anything. He bet on 2 cockroaches going up the wall, you know?
Yeah, of
See,
course.
A or B. But
It's just the magnitude. I think the way you started it, and I'm sure you've been talking about this all morning.
Yeah.
The magnitude of the impact on the league, and
Mhm.
Kenny Smith said, "Oh, it's not going to be that detrimental. It's not going to be that big of a deal." I disagree with that. I think it is a big deal. And Harry disagrees too. Harry the cat, who does not have a
I can't believe
Jones.
they knocked you off the air right there.
Harry's got a Jones for tuna fish. That's about it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So
As you should.
I'm not. I don't partake. God love you if you do. But I just so for a guy like me who's obviously invested in sports and a huge it's
Yeah.
my job. I'm reading stories today. The New York Post. I don't know if you brought this up already, but their cover is Hoop Fellows with a picture of Chauncey Billups.
I did not see that. That's a great. I did not see the post today, which normally I do.
I'll hold it
That's
up.
great.
Here you
Oh,
go.
you know what? But that's awesome. Well, I just played Michael Francesi. He was on TMZ talking about it. I mean, it doesn't get any better. Former capital regime for the Colombo family. I mean, we know the Colombos and the Bonanos and the Lucchese's and Franchi.
You know them well, don't you?
Gambino. Yeah, I do know them well. I know some of them, a couple of them, and maybe a couple left over from the Patriarca crew too. But
Yes,
hey,
yes.
I mean, just an acquaintance.
Just an
We have
acquaintance, of
dinner.
course. I was at the
We have
North End the
dinner.
other night. I thought of you, Pete.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Went to the Celtics
Hey,
Open.
is our friend Jen Royal leaving for New York City? Did I see that?
I don't know if she's leaving, but she might have purchased a nice little house there or condo.
Okay. All right, where'd you go to North End?
The empire grows, Pete.
Oh, how's that?
Well, Jen's empire, of course. Jen has an empire.
Oh, Jen's empire grows. Yeah, but I'm saying, table, and she has the gelato place across the street. She's
Oh
doing
my
that.
God, she's
Chef Jen Royal, celebrity
crushing
Chef Jen Royal.
We knew her when. No, actually, we didn't.
I went through doing Saturday mornings at WEEI back in the day, but she was always.
I was supposed to go to Mare, which is a good,
Yep.
good spot in the North
Very
End.
good.
And we were running late. I went with my significant other. We went to the Celtics opener, which we can get into that if you'd like.
Yeah, and maybe.
That's just brutal.
To the 3-point lead. We'll get to. So you went out to eat before or after?
No, we were going to go to Mare and we couldn't pull it off because this just in. Traffic in Boston is horrendous.
I heard Zoe yesterday.
Yeah,
on a rant.
It's bad, Pete.
He
It's
said
really bad.
it took like 2.5 hours to go like 20 miles or something ridiculous thing.
And he's coming. He lives near where I live.
Yeah,
south of the city. And when I go to BC in the morning, I have to leave today. I have to leave myself at least an hour.
Well, yeah. What time are you flying to Louisville?
Plane takes off at 1:30.
Where do you land? I forget. I've never been. I don't think I've ever been to Kentucky.
It's a good spot. I mean, I know you have the Derby on your bucket list.
Oh, actually, what am I saying? I had been to the Derby. I had been to the
there you
Derby
go.
one time. Yes, I have been one.
It was memorable then.
Well, there was like 8 of us. Like jumped in a couple of cars and just took off on a whim. And I remember a little bit of it.
A lot of bourbon, a lot of whiskey.
Yeah.
We'll go to Merle's tonight, which is a great spot in Louisville, down by the Yum Center, the home of the Cardinals.
How long does that play? 2 hours?
2 hours. Yeah, it's not bad. It's I know you scouted Louisville last week. I was
going to say
Miami.
the Miami Hurricanes have warmed up your defensive back. So Louisville's defensive back. So I fully expect the Eagles. You talk about the ultimate trap game. This should be it. But,
I hope so.
You got to tell me what is going on. And I know you do a podcast with Bill O'Brien every week and everything else. And I saw the press conference after that game. And look, I know you can only say so much, but it was a head scratcher to me because if that was any other coach, the way he responded to some of that stuff, I'm like, man, your tenure at this institution ain't going to be much longer with answers like that because they're getting humiliated.
I think it's just. It's a couple things. One, it's a lack of depth. Two, it is a major injury issue. They have 14 injuries on defense. They played multiple freshmen. As he told us last night on our show, probably up to 22 freshmen have played this year. And they're not ready. And, it's chapter and verse at BC. If you go that deep, you're in trouble on your depth chart. So I think he's very confident that he's going to have a blockbuster offseason. I mean, he knows he has to. He's going to go shopping in the portal. It's not really necessarily what he wants to do, but it will be something he has to do.
But it's mandatory in this day and age for big time college football, and you got to go, Spencer. You got to get this money. I say it all the time.
Well, the money will be there.
The money's going to be go get a quarterback that's $4 or $5 million a year. That's that simple. You can't win without one. You can't win without one.
He brings up Virginia. You bring up Duke. You bring up Vanderbilt. Similar schools from an academic standpoint, and what they've done. So look. It's a program build. To his credit, he after the game. Look, I don't blame him. Everybody, you're a mess after the game.
Yeah,
it's just his personality anyway.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to kind of. He's in a quiet moment. He's probably explosives are flying everywhere. But right now he's just got to steady the boat a little bit. And I hate to. I know that's not easy for fans to hear. I hear it from it's the party line. I'm telling you the explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to give you excuses.
No, I'm with you, and as a broadcaster, some of this business, I'm being serious here. I feel for you and Pete and Matt on the sideline. It's got to be fucking brutal. It's one thing to lose heartbreaking games, but to keep getting your butt whipped, and then what happened against UConn, which is just.
No, that was.
I can't say I'm surprised. It's got to be hard.
I'll tell you one thing about UConn. Well. They did a heck of a job in the offseason.
Moore's done a great job. If UConn could have been resurrected, it got resurrected because they were at UMass level at one point.
Yeah, they were one of the worst teams in the country, and now they're going to be a bowl team again. So that's to credit to him and credit to their administration for giving him what he needed. So I think it all will shift. We all hope it shifts. Bill hopes it shifts. They're behind him. It was we thought it was a good hire. Of course, it was a good hire. He's just having a bad year. As he mentioned last night, I've had bad years before, maybe not as bad, but bad years. He's used to it a little bit. Like most coaches kind of get used to it, at least in terms of, not dealing with 1 or 2 wins, but just dealing with the issues. So he's going to try to dig out, and that's what he's doing as we speak.
How's Lewis's his health?
He's good. He's one of the few guys that's not on the injury report.
It's amazing he hasn't scored a touchdown this year.
It's yes, it is.
He's one of the best receivers in the country.
Yes,
we thought he was. I still think he is. But
I had to think there for a second. I'm like, that's right.
Touchdowns.
Yeah, that's right.
I know he has 50 receptions and a long of 32. That just blew my mind when I looked that stat up this morning.
Yeah, I think he's one of those. Bill wishes he had 12 of those guys. And he's probably going to graduate as the all-time leading receiver. Zay Flowers was in the house last week. He was at Chestnut Hill. Luke Kuechly came back this week on a promotional tour. So they're trying to, he knows what he has to do. It's just a matter of like the Bonds of the world. That's who you want at BC, a 2-star kid.
Yes. Lightly
recruited. He'd like the 4 and 5-star if he can get them, which they're trying to. And that's another thing. I've never seen more recruits in my life. Like the sidelines packed before the games. I've never seen that at BC. Look. You want an excuse? The fall off was drastic in recruiting the last 5 years before Bill got there.
Sure.
So that's you hear that from a lot of coaches when they take jobs. That's why I keep saying it's a rebuild because it is. Mm-hmm. He's not lying. It's the truth. If anything, he's sometimes he's too honest. Yeah. So and I think that's what your reaction was last week, and I get it. Fans, especially 5 minutes after the game, you don't want to probably hear anything because you're so upset. BC has that small vocal minority, as up here, that they get upset. We get it. We're upset too on the post game. Listen to our post game shows. Mm-hmm. It's hard to digest, but hopefully, I think now, Pete, you go into games just saying, all right, can you make this a 1-possession game? Can you make it a 2-possession game? Can you make it close? Can you keep it close? Can you play 5-minute quarters as opposed to 12-minute quarters and play in increments and create some explosives and tackle like Miami didn't tackle against Louisville?
Well, great space team in Miami last week, and see, the first 2 drives, obviously, they just were kind of sleepwalking in the first quarter. And then at the end, but when they needed to make stops, they made a bunch of stops, especially in the third and the fourth quarter. I know Louisville went up by 11 because I'm bad tackling on that particular play. But even up to the very end, I thought they were going to win the game. I really did. I mean, they came back, they did the trick play for the 2-point conversion and all that stuff, and they make another stop. They march down the field, and whether you want to blame coaching and obviously Carson Beck, it's. The first 2 interceptions, I can give him a little latitude. Those were incredible plays. I thought they were both completions. The last 2 were pathetic. The one off his back foot over the middle was awful. Yeah. And hopefully he can redeem himself and get ready for Stanford this week. They're 30-point favorites, so they should beat them soundly. They got to get the running game going again with Fletcher and company. I think they will. And then they get SMU next week. And I still think they have a great shot to run the table.
I can believe.
No one gives them any. They shouldn't have lost that game. I understand that, John. But there are other teams in the league that and other leagues that lose games by 3 to Louisville's a good team. They should have been ranked before they played Miami. I'm not excusing the loss, but my God, it's a 3-point loss. They should have won at home. I get it. It's not the end of the world. They dropped from 2 to 9. I think if it was any other school that lost that type of a game, they would not have dropped that far. But that's okay. I just think people, and maybe I'm being a little sensitive about it. I just think, Miami loses a game like that and all hell breaks loose. There's plenty of other teams that have lost games like that this year. And, all hell doesn't break loose. But
I think it's magnified. It's and look, Cristobal's got a rep. So and I heard, game day last week. They made a lot of good points. I'm sure you watched it.
Yep.
Why are you not running the ball?
Yeah.
Like, control the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got backs that are NFL caliber backs. You got a good offensive line. Try to control the game up front instead of your quarterback's having a bad night. And he was harassed. Louisville's a really good defense.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
he's going to see that tomorrow. So, and they disguise a lot. So he was confused. And why not control the line?
To your point, Louisville's 12th in the Division 113 takeaways. They allow just 274 yards per game. That's 10th best nationally. So what does BC have to do? James is going to be back at starting quarterback again. What do the Eagles have to do to just to stay competitive in this game?
Just simplify. Bill said last night, keep the line's getting better. Turbo Richards coming back. He got hurt last week. They got Jordan McDonald as a good back. You saw that last week against UConn.
Mm-hmm.
$123 for him. Those guys can run. 4 or 5 yard chunks, 3, 4, 5. Stay on schedule on first down. That is absolutely essential for them. And it's been a problem all year. Red zone issues. Don't settle for field goals. They got one of the best kickers in the country. Luca Lombardo has not missed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great story. He's a walk-on from Westport, Connecticut, played soccer at Syracuse. That's a good highlight in this season, but you gotta punch it in. Red zone efficiency has been a problem. Grayson James is a stabilizing kid. Mm-hmm. He's definitely he's not going to make any mistakes. I think the team responds to him better. Chudzinski, the tight end's kind of emerged here the last couple games. He's a good young threat. That's the good news, as we said last night. The good news, and no one wants to hear it because we're talking about the now. But down the road here, 2026, when you and I sit here in October, they're going to be a much better team because their young guys are now sophomores and they're gaining valuable experience. And, you get battle tested, especially in games like this. And look, maybe, as you said, maybe you catch Louisville on a letdown.
Yeah. I think they might. I think this game, my gut feeling tells me it's going to be close in the first half. And then as long as they
could very well be.
The longer they hang around, who knows? I'd love for that to happen. Virginia's at North Carolina. I see no chance for the Tar Heels winning this game. I think Virginia's going to blow them out by 20. I mean, that just summed up their whole sorry-ass season at Cal last week. What happened there. SMU at Wake Forest is another good game. And, Pittsburgh at home against NC State could be a Syracuse at Georgia Tech. I don't think Syracuse is going to beat Georgia Tech, but maybe Georgia Tech has a letdown of a game too. People keep thinking that Georgia Tech and all these other teams, SMU was already lost to. But, I mean, there's certain people out there that think that a lot of these ACC teams are going to go the rest of the way without losing. And
I think Georgia Tech's really good.
They are good.
BC sees them in a couple of weeks. So I think to your point, you're at the point of the season now, though, the good teams are getting better. SMU's getting better. not great, but
Yeah.
they're still a tough out.
Yeah.
And you and I came on here in late August and said, the ACC's top heavy, and that's another disadvantage for BC this year is their schedule. And again, people don't want to hear it. I get it, but you're not playing Wake Forest, you're not playing North Carolina, you're not playing Virginia Tech, you're not playing NC State. This is the year you really could have used those type of games.
Yeah.
And you didn't. You didn't get those. You got the Thunder. A lot of them are home, including Notre Dame next week. And, that's going to be a big event like it always is. We don't know the game time yet, but
Sure,
so that's
at night. I'm sure it'll be at night.
Oh God. Team prime time, Pete.
That could be that'd probably be the NBC game at night.
I don't think so.
I got to see who else is playing next week.
It's one of those deals where it's probably going to be 3:30 at night. You're right. So
let's see. Purdue, Michigan is at night. Georgia Tech, NC State, no time yet. Miami, SMU. That'll probably be on ABC prime time, I would think. If not a 3:30 game.
Yes.
Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas Tech, K-State, Virginia, Cal. That'll be 10 o'clock. ACC Network, 10:30. Ohio State, Penn State. Well, that's at noon on Fox, believe it or not. That's all right. So it'll be. We'll find out. I think Notre Dame and Boston being in the market it is. I think I'd be shocked if it's not at night. Worst case scenario, 3:30.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't anticipate a noon game, but it's hopefully. Look, if you're a college football fan in New England, you're getting a lot of good opponents this year, and we're seeing some good crowds too, which helps the cause. But the ACC is so like college football in general. I mean, we know this. It's crazy. It's flat.
It's crazy, but it's close. I mean, there's not these super duper superior teams. I think the margin for error is very slight. It's just the SEC and Big Ten snobberism sometimes that goes on, and I'm like, hey, some of your teams would struggle against some of the ACC teams like Miami, Louisville, Virginia, Georgia Tech. I mean, those are not easy teams to play. And I don't care what level, whoever you are, it doesn't matter. I mean, Alabama lost to Florida State. No, I know people want to now people want to just poo-poo that like it doesn't mean anything because they played well.
I know. I like that's convenient.
It always cracks me up. It's okay for SEC people to think that way, Finey, but everybody else who thinks that brings that up, and then you're ostracized. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's an afterthought, but that's my point too on teams getting better. I mean, Alabama's the best team in the country right now. I think
Ohio State's got to be up there too.
I think it's 1A, 1B, and the way Simpson's playing, and the defense has cranked it up.
I was saying Indiana's an interesting.
Indiana's close. I go Indiana, Ohio State, and Alabama as your top three.
I'm getting. I was saying this to my buddy Jay Flannelly the other last hour. I'm a little vandied out. It's like shoving the WNBA down my throat. They're shoving Vanderbilt down my throat, and I don't necessarily want to. And I hope Missouri goes to Nashville tomorrow and kicks the shit out of them. I really do. I hope they do.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel.
I think it's a great story. And what they're doing in Pavia and Diego Pavia and all that stuff. I think it's a wonderful story, but it's they're the sexy.
Yeah, well, everybody loves the underdog.
Yeah.
Fantastic story. But that gives programs like BC and others who are rebuilding hope. So it's as Andy Dufresne said, Pete, all you need is hope.
Freedom. All right. So you're headed to Logan soon on your little nice charter.
Yeah. Yep. We got the American Airlines charter. You get your Chick-fil-A as you board the plane.
Oh, Chick-fil-A. So no mystery beef medallions for Cronin to pick out.
Pete, no doubt, will be asking for the beef medallions on the return trip at 1 a.m.
That's right. Right back.
Oh yeah.
Would you prefer that game being in the afternoon or at night?
Yes, I think everybody prefers afternoon games.
I knew what your answer was going to be.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Plus, it's on ACC Network, so it's more commercials. So you have to wait for TV.
Yep. We just
You work for the ACC network. They should
We
have
grind
you.
it out, Pete. We
Carryover.
grind it
You
out.
have to do a carryover.
We're a grinding out program. That's who we are. And hopefully it'll be a fun trip, and we'll have some we'll have some good. I don't know what Merle's special. Oh, Merle's has. You'll love this bacon on a stick, soaked in bourbon.
I've seen that.
That's
How delicious is
Chach.
that?
We'll be putting that on Instagram tonight. Look for your look for your videos.
It's just bacon on there's nothing else. It's not like wrapped in a corn dog.
Oh, it's soaked. It's soaked in the suburban. There's some there's some brown sugar. It's just when it comes out, you're like, boy, I don't know if I can do this. But I'll tell you what, great meal last night too. Stockyard in Brighton. You love the Stockyard.
Yep.
My guy Mike Collin took care of us. It was
awesome.
Cronin and I we were eating like kings.
Did you have a steak?
Cronin went for the beef medallions, but yeah,
we didn't. Did he?
No, he did not. He did not, thankfully.
I'd like to sit here and schmooze about the Bruins 6-game losing streak and the Celtics, but time is running out because Gabe Morency is going to join me in a minute here or so. But yeah, tonight it'd be nice for the Celtics to get back on track against the stupid Knicks. And I'm just going to tell everybody right now, like I said, the Lakers aren't going anywhere, and neither are the Knicks. I don't care what the Knicks do in the regular season; they'll fuck it up in the end. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They got lucky last year. That won't happen this year.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know it's early, but your guy Joe better start coaching a little better.
Well, wait a second. I mean, whose fault is it at the end? Pritchard not finding Jaylen Brown, or I mean,
I think it's a combination. I think I heard
sure
that yesterday.
Fed tried to get Jaylen the ball. I can't believe that wasn't.
I don't know. They look like they all didn't know what to do. So look, it is what it is. He's going to face that criticism this year.
Mm-hmm.
As one talk show host said up here, and I agree yesterday, that he never thought the coaching would be that magnified, but it is now with him. This is the year they signed him to an extension, but you're not that talented right now, Joe. So this is when you really have to coach.
Yeah, but I still think they're more talented than people give them credit for. I told you, Kate is going to be one of the great one of the most improved players in the league is going to be that guy. You still got 2.5 All-Stars on that team, and just hang around until April, and hopefully Tatum comes back.
And, I think your Chauncey Billups guys in Vegas and Terry Rozier's guys in Vegas know what they're doing, though.
Oh, my leg. Ow. I could take myself out and not shoot 0 for 10.
Comes full circle, Pete.
It does. All right, my man. You're the best. Safe travels to you, Pete, Chach, and Matt, and down to – you have to sound like you're constipated when you say Louisville.
By the way, Louisville.
Louisville.
I learned that earlier. It's not Louisville. It's Louisville.
Chris Berman used to love that. Louisville.
Yeah, with Tom Jackson. He loved it. You didn't even ask me the World Series question.
Oh, yeah, that tonight too, which I'm looking forward to that. It's
I am so in. I love that Toronto team. Maybe it's just, we all get caught up in it, but God, it's great baseball.
I hope they pull it off. I think if you're going to pull off, you steal game 1 tonight. The Dodgers may be a little rusty against live pitching. They haven't seen it in a while, but I think it's going to be a hell of a series. I don't see a lot of 2-1s. I see a lot of 8-5, 6-7.
I agree.
It should be a lot of fun.
And look out for Emmett Sheehan out of the Dodgers pen, the pride of Boston College.
That's right. By the way, if you're betting the money line tonight or tomorrow night on your game, which I know you can't discuss, Louisville, to win $100 meter, you have to lay $3,226 to win 100. If you go the other way, if you bet 100 on Boston College, you win back $1,363. How about that?
See, now that's some good math from Sheppard University.
All right, buddy. Safe travels.
I like it.
We'll talk next week. Thanks so much.
All right, Pete. Have a good weekend.
All righty. There he goes. John Meter Perel here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Radio Network. Gabe Morency, Sports Grid, going to be joining me very shortly here, God willing. And we will get his thoughts on some of these games. There's there's no top 10 matchups this week per se, but there's some good top 20 matchups as well. Like I said, including Missouri at Vanderbilt, I think is a very, very interesting game as well. Let me see where we are here. Anything else breaking. We've had some great guests today. Obviously, Bill Sparrows from bookies.com, the senior betting analyst. Jay Flanley, John Meter-Perel, and Gabe Morency is coming up next here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Keep it right here. We can't play video today because Angel has not been feeling well at all. I will play, and I haven't been able to touch on the Bruins, and there was a horrible loss last night, horrible. Every time you thought they were going to win, they just screwed it up, and they score anytime over 4 goals, they should win. 5 goals, it's unacceptable. Here's Marco Sturm, Bruins head coach, after the game, the 7-5 loss to Anaheim at the Garden last night, their 6th straight loss.
You want to give those guys that haven't picked it up to pick it up, be it in practice or games, before you start making some more perhaps drastic changes there?
It's hard to do changes. That's the thing, right? It's first of all, it's early in the year. There's a roster limit I have. Not too many changes will be made. You can tweak a few things, but that's about it. So I'm confident enough that this is the guys we can get, or we got to get out of it. But I don't think too many changes can be made. Let's be honest, right? So the guys in here, including me, the guys in this room, we have to fix it. We can't control anything else.
All right. Yeah, they do have to fix it. It's early on in the season, so if you're going to lose 6 in a row, you might as well do it at this point in the season as opposed to the end. Charlie McAvoy, he wasn't happy yesterday as well, Bruins defenseman, on the results.
I could tell you I'm pretty frustrated right now, and I'm upset, and that is what it is, but it's on us to get ourselves out of it. It's the only thing that matters now. There's nothing that's going to save us from what we've accomplished in the past.
What are some of the things that you think you need to clean up as a team in order to avoid that?
Everything. We are trying so hard. We're trying, even on the last goal, like, we want to do the right thing. We want to go pressure the puck, the man-on-man. Like, we just want it so bad that we're getting in our own way. We're doing too much. We're not doing it the right way. Like, we want it. You can see it, how we fight when we go down. We want it. We're dying to win in here. Like, we're close every single game, and we just can't find a way to get over the hump. But we're right there, so.
All right, there's Bruins also defenseman Charlie McAvoy, and it's a tough. The Bruins have close but no cigar. Last night was inexcusable. You can't score 5 goals against Anaheim and not win that game. The other game, besides, the 4-1 loss to Colorado, every other game they've been in, and the people who want, like Jeremy Swayman gone and everything else, I don't know if you watched. The only reason why they were even in a lot of those games is because their goaltending was doing really well. It's just their penalties. They keep getting these ridiculous penalties, and they got to clean that up. But it's very early in the season. They've lost 6 in a row, and we'll see what happens. As far as the NFL and the Patriots go, look, it's all good, right? I haven't seen any major injuries or anything. Anybody that's going to miss the game for the Patriots against Cleveland on Sunday, can't wait for that. Always going to be fun. Again, still waiting on Gabe Morency. Hopefully he will be able to. I better check. Just in case that he can't do it or something happens. He is in British Columbia. He goes out of his way to do this for me. He's a guy who works his tail off 7 days a week. He is on Sports Grid, and he is one of my favorite people in the world. All right, meanwhile, back to the NBA. Back to the NBA betting scandal. Kenny the Jet Smith on the NBA betting scandal yesterday as well. This is a great take. The people, the only ones with most of the guts on ESPN are the people that are in the NBA tip-off show. Ernie, Kenny the Jet Smith, Shaq, Chuck, and company. So here's Kenny Smith.
Kenny, get in on this thing.
Well, it's super unfortunate. One, because we look at players that are involved and the people that are involved. We're surprised because when you have access and you're at the top of your game, so to speak, as a coaching profession, a player, or whatever. You're at the top of the game. You have access to millions and millions of dollars in this league. So it was surprising that they would put themselves in that position, possibly. It is an innocent until proven guilty. I think the other part is we have to realize gambling is an addiction. So the addiction of it is what makes you make illogical decisions. So not because you make $9 million. There are people who are making, as the FBI director said, there's a man who lost $1.8 million. That means he has a lot of money, so he has an addiction to that, those fish that they talk about that they were bringing in. So gambling is an addiction which can make you make illogical decisions regardless of your ethnic background, regardless of your physical background, and regardless of your financial status. So let's understand that. And I disagree in terms of the NBA dropping the ball. This is an ongoing investigation. There's no way that any FBI or police even would come to anyone and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is the surprise element always makes it happen. So they cannot overextend the information that they're receiving. And this is about individuals. And last, and I'll let you talk, Chuck. I
wish you would, because you're making me mad right here.
Well, I can make you mad and you can make me mad. I just have my opinion. You're going to have yours. But I also think that because there are people who get speeding tickets doesn't mean everyone in the league speeds. And so don't look at this group of people that's starting to get investigated as the entire league.
As an indictment of the league. Clear something up for me, Chuck.
I'm going to clear it up quickly.
I know, but I really just want this. You say the league dropped the ball on the Rozier part of this?
Yes.
Because they had already looked at it and said we didn't have enough, but not on the Chauncey. They didn't drop the ball on
Chauncey.
Chauncey
First of all, these are two
Billups.
different things.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
two different things.
So the league dropped the ball
Chauncey.
on Rozier, you
Take
say.
Chauncey out the equation.
All right.
And the reason I'm mad at Kenny is, man, this ain't got nothing to do with damn gambling addiction. This ain't got nothing to do with addiction. These dudes are stupid.
Why are they stupid?
Under no circumstances can you fix basketball games. Under no circumstances. I love to gamble. The notion, like, Rozier makes $26 million. Him betting, giving people information or taking himself out of games, how much is he gonna benefit taking himself out the game to get unders? Like, he's making $26 million. The notion he gave, how much of these guys he gave a head up, he took himself out of games on prop bets. How much money is he gonna make?
Well, if he did that, you're proving my point.
What do you mean? That
means
that's
that
not
it's an
addiction.
illogical thought process. No. If you're making $26 million to try to win $50,000, like, that's illogical. So that you're proving my point.
No, that's not addiction. That's stupidity.
The same reason someone goes and uses drugs when they're in the NBA.
Hey, drugs are addiction.
So there's no gambling addiction?
No, yeah, they are gambling addiction. But the notion that you're trying to make sure these guys being addicted, you can't fix basketball games. You cannot fix. Like I say, this is separate from Chauncey, but the notion that guys are making all this money and giving information, come on, man, stop that. Ain't got nothing to do with addiction. That's just.
No, I mean, Chuck is absolutely right. I think Kenny is missing the point here. Yes, there's gambling addiction, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about prop bets on the whole and information being given out to certain people by certain coaches and players about who's going to play and not to play. That's what Chuck is saying, and he's right. It's stupid. Because you cannot pull the wool over these bookmakers' eyes anymore. You're going to get caught because gambling is legal, not illegal, because it is legal in 39 states and it will be in all 50 in the next year or two. There's no doubt about it. You can't do it anymore. If you're going to tell somebody in the NBA, Perk said it earlier yesterday as well. You know, my phone blows up all the time. You know why? It's because people are friends. They just want to know who's played, who's hurt, who's really not hurt. This is not about really manipulating the point spread or anything like that, even though a player playing or not playing obviously can have an impact. But let's just stick with the prop betting. That's what this is all about. It's about the prop bets for players. And the NBA was wrong to not come out and do something about this when they were informed by FanDuel or DraftKings, whatever book told them about the Rozier situation. They did nothing. They swept it under the rug and thought it was going to go away. And don't give me this bullshit about it was going to be while they're waiting for the investigation. No way. You think the NFL would have done that? And I'm not saying they're God forbid, Tagliabue and his crew that that I have anything nice to say about that. But I'm just telling you, if the NBA looks bad today because of that. They do. It's a bad look. They knew about it and they did nothing about it. And I think we're only scratching the surface here. Well, I don't know what happened to Gabe, but he probably got tied up again. He is in Canada and British Columbia. He does a great job. So check out Gabe on Sports Grid because I am going to. We're going to end the show today because my voice is fading. Gave you all my pigskin picks. I'm sure. Check out Gabe on Sports Grid. His give you all the information for Gabe. You want to check him out. He releases all this, but he doesn't charge for his picks. He releases them right before the game. He's a huge Dodger fan, so I can only imagine he's going to be going nuts tonight. He's probably going to be on the air, I'm sure. So at Sports Rage, SportsRage. That's what you want, Gabe Morency from Sports Grid. You see on Prime Video, Roku, Samsung TV, and more. And he's also a great musician. All right, that is going to do it for us here on the Pete Sheppard Show. I want to thank all my guests today, John Meter-Perrell, Jay Flanley, Bill Spiros. Have a great and safe weekend, everybody. I'm back. I am Pete. I'll be back on Monday at 7 in the a.m. Have a great weekend, everybody. See ya.